Sent Trent some real ratings. Said,
Yeah.
here you go.
Yeah.
Here's where you're living now.
David was like, hey, I know we talk about this a lot, but
I just want you to see it in black
here's
and
the
white.
truth. Yeah.
But the other thing that it shows, Trent, is, how different the state of Florida is. Like
Yeah.
Southwest Florida and West Palm Beach are tied at the hip, which is fascinating. Okay. But then again, both affluent, very Republican, age is roughly the same.
Yeah.
West Palm's got FAU, Southwest Florida is FGCU.
Neither care about either of them.
Right. Then you got the Tampa Orlando thing. Tampa's big on golf. But then it's interesting, what does it take to get Miami, Jacksonville, Orlando, to get them to appear top 10 or so in the ratings?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rangers stole one last night. They play like that the rest of the series, they may not win another game. But, oh yeah, Coffin Ball. Absolutely. Yep. And it doesn't matter. The deeper it goes, the more memories I have. Rangers played 4 double overtime games in 94. Oh, yeah. Let's just keep going.
I was talking to Jake. Jake called me during the first overtime. I'm like, this is going 2 overtimes. It just had, like 5 minutes into it, I'm like, this might go a while. This just had that feeling about it.
Well, I thought the first overtime was going to go because the Rangers scored first in every period, and Carolina scored in the last 3 minutes of the first and second periods. So I thought the longer it went in the first overtime, Carolina was going to win. I'll tell you, Brenda Moore's.
Here we go. Sorry.
Going to tell us about it.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. Happy hump day. Hope your week is going well. Let's get over it together, shall we? How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. That's how we roll on this show, from Southwest Florida to Huntsville, from Jacksonville to Lake City, and a few points in between on I-10 and I-75. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing well, David, and I realized something that I should have realized a long time ago, that when we did our first act and we were doing afternoons, the how the heck are you was a greeting to the listeners. Now that we're doing mornings, I believe the how the heck are you is your own personal wake-up call.
Whew. And after, playoff hockey, a
Right.
double OT, yes, that's true. That's me throwing cold water on my own face.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I think it's necessary for all of us to get a little slap in the face after what a great night of hockey last night.
No doubt.
Double overtime, both games 4-3. Terrific night on the ice last night.
It was outstanding. And I feel, I have to admit, the playoff is a grind. Do you get this at home at all? But see, your wife's a bigger sports fan than my wife. My wife looks at me and is like, okay, how long is this going to last? And I'm like, the game? And she's like, no, the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm like, 8 weeks. And she just looks at you and I go, I don't know what to tell you. It's 4 rounds of best of 7. A best of 7, they block off about 2 weeks for each series. That's how we roll. I look right at her. I go, come on, honey. When we met our first year, okay, the The Rangers won the Cup in mid-June. I mean, come on now.
What do you think you're even around for? You were a good luck charm then. You're a good luck charm now.
Right. Come on. We named the first cat Ranger. I mean, come on. You know how this goes. It just shakes her head like it never ends.
Thank goodness for that.
It's right. I look right at her and I go, you do know I don't have a job if this stuff ended, you know. I mean, we just can't all be, because, you know, they think a football season's long. Like, if you're not really into it, they think of football, and that's once a week for 5 months. I mean, you know, baseball takes 7 months of games. Hockey and basketball, 8. I mean, they think football is a long season. It's like, no, it's actually the shortest season. It's just the most intense. You know, we stop paying attention to you for every day of all 5 months. I mean, in theory, we should be able to pay attention for most of the week, every week, but we're just obsessed. Can't do it. How you holding up? You had a tiring Monday. That makes for a long week this time of year. See, I had an easy Monday. You know, so yeah, I had some overtime hockey last night. I had to stay up late, burn the midnight oil, if you will. Okay, we'll see how I am by the end of the week. But how you holding up?
It's a long week. It really is. It's a grind. I feel like it's the second round of the playoffs. I feel a little bit like the Dallas Mavericks right now.
Okay.
Like I was beaten up by a much younger and more athletic team.
Gotcha. So you feel, you're the team that didn't have a lot of rest going from round 1 to round 2. You know, I feel as if I'm now finally in round 2 after last night. It's like, oh, okay. That's just what the playoffs are supposed to be like. You gonna be all right?
I'm gonna be great.
Okay.
I'm ecstatic.
Well, you don't have a collared shirt on today, so that tells me that A, you're not doing real estate after the show, and B, you're not playing golf. So that could mean C, you're taking a nap.
No, I actually am playing golf. I just threw a t-shirt on this morning.
Gotcha.
Long story, but I was kind of in a hurry. I went down during Avs Dallas last night and woke up at 2 a.m. on the couch.
Okay.
So I don't know if I got quality sleep last night. I slept in multiple places. I think the cat got a better night's sleep than I did, but that's all right. Just trying as hard as I could to watch playoff hockey last night, and then I went down.
Yeah, it's a sacrifice that, us fans have to make. We get a bad rap. Okay, somehow we're deemed as not tough. Okay, I think we play more often than most NBA players do. I think we have less load management than the NBA. I really do. As fans, I think we get a bad rap. I think we show up a lot. I don't know how good we are, but I think we show up a lot.
No, we definitely show up. There's no doubt. Are we at our best? Not always.
No. No. But, like most teams, our seasons, most of them end with a loss. There's a few fans right now that, they kind of have it going on. You're a Chiefs fan, a Georgia Bulldogs fan, that sort of deal. You're not many losses you're having to deal with. Okay. All right. Good for you. We're happy for you.
But the rest of us, a little more of a grind.
Right. So Trent's, I think his play of the day is done. I mean, you got a double dip today, young man. I mean, you got to play both winners, don't you?
Sure.
He's looking at me like he doesn't know what you're talking about.
I'll always do double winners.
Oh, two playoff hockey games go overtime, one double overtime. You don't just our play of the day and boom, boom.
Trent did at one point at all. Did you flip away from? I mean, because both NBA games were blowouts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, I only watched basketball last night.
Yeah. See, that's another reason. You should do the double dip play of the day just to see what you missed. You go, oh, wow, that sounded exciting.
It's like my own version of the starting five.
Right. And an hour or so from now, when you do the play of the day, you could say, I heard we had compelling hockey last night, but I'm a little skeptical. So let's pick up the Rangers and the Canes 3-3 in double OT and just play it.
Yeah.
By the way, you don't
Sounds
see
good to
very
me.
often a team down 3-0 in a game come back and win a playoff game.
No, you do not.
So,
And you wonder what that'll do to Dallas's psyche.
especially since they're a largely young team. I mean, the guts of the team's actually 25 years and under. They got a couple of key vets, but the overwhelming part of the team is actually young. You know, goalie's a veteran, a couple of the forwards, Ben and what have you, they're veterans, but they've got a ton of young guys on that team that are going through this for the first time. So we'll see how they handle it. But good stuff. And the 2-1 seeds last night. Are we prepared for either Minnesota or Oklahoma City in the NBA Finals as fans? Are we ready?
No.
We had
No,
just warmed up to Jokic and the Nuggets. We literally had just warmed up to them. And what? That's it? They're going to go away? What are we going to do?
Yeah, most are thinking that this is not whether or not they go away, whether or not it's going to be a sweep.
And a Minnesota OKC conference final? I mean, are we ready for this as fans? What's the football equivalent? This coming season, we end up with, in one of the two conferences in the conference championship game, what is the Timberwolves Thunder AFC NFC championship game equivalent?
Houston.
Okay.
Titans.
I was thinking Chargers, but you're not far off.
So I was wondering, it's not just because I'm in Jacksonville. I'm wondering, would the Jags be one of the two teams? But you got to remember, I mean, OKC, what? First time in the playoffs in 4 years.
That's where my Chargers comes in. It's got to be
Okay.
someone that's missed the playoffs. Minnesota was in last year and lost first round, right?
You're right. They want to play in and then got beat by Denver, I believe, in 5.
So that's kind of my Houston comparison.
Okay. Houston won a game, though, in the playoffs last year. So, but okay. So that's your AFC. What would, in the NFC, I mean, the Lions last year making it, but, the Timberwolves as a franchise have only been around 30 years. Oklahoma City as a franchise hasn't even been around 20. Sorry, those of us do not consider that franchise the Seattle Sonics. We don't. No, we don't. I'm sorry, we don't.
That's fine.
We loved the Seattle Super Sonics. We loved them. We did. Some of us go back to when they went to back-to-back finals in the late 70s with Lenny Wilkins. By the way, check out the suits Lenny Wilkins was wearing in the late 70s. And just the year before that, Dr. Jack Ramsey's suits with the Portland Trailblazers in 77. You check out the fashion on the sidelines in the late 70s in the NBA. Okay, put that up against the Met Gala the other night. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Met Gala, 70s NBA.
It's quite, and never mind how big Dr. J's fro was in 77. Woo!
The NFC equivalent. Boy, that's...
I mean, because think about OKC 8 years ago was in the conference final. I mean, it seems longer than that. I mean, Durant was still there. Westbrook was still there. They were up 3-1 on Golden State, actually, the year that Golden State won the 73 games in the conference final.
And you got to remember when you're doing this exercise is you got to pick, that's why, I had Houston and the Chargers, two teams with fan bases that are only in their area. You can't, the
Right.
NFC, you can't take it like a Packers, who's a
Right.
team that has such history and fan base everywhere. Because the other point of what you're making, are we ready for it? Are we ready as fans to embrace two teams that we've never embraced before?
No. Like, I mean, are they the Carolina Panthers?
Yes.
Carolina, by the way, 2016 with Oklahoma City nearly making the finals. 2015, Cam was MVP, and Carolina went 15-1 and went to the Super Bowl. Well, I will say that year, Carolina hosted the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC Championship game.
That's what this is. It's Carolina and Arizona.
Okay, are we ready? Can we do this?
I
You
think
know.
we can. We can do it.
Well, you can do anything. You're one of the, just like Miller and Moulton can do anything that involves pucks and skates. We even watched the Ottawa-Anaheim final in 2007. We were one of 13 in North America that did. So, Trent, they got you. We got it. But I'm just curious, is this something where, we can be all in on this? Because, it's happening. Oh, they are doing this. Miller and Moulton.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Are you looking to make this Mother's Day unforgettable? Jason and Todd with the Diamond District are excited to help. This year, she'll get the ice and you'll get the cooler. A premium Yeti cooler valued at $300. With their stunning selection of fine diamond jewelry and exotic gemstone jewelry, you'll be sure to find the perfect gift that will help make this Mother's Day special. And with your purchase of $1,800 or more, you'll receive a free premium Yeti cooler valued at $300. Whether you're already part of the Diamond District family or will be meeting them for the first time, you'll fall in love quickly with their selection, quality, value, and experienced non-commissioned team. Jason and Todd are in the store nearly every day and are excited to hand you a premium Yeti cooler when she gets the ice. Visit Jason and Todd with the Diamond District this Mother's Day week from the 8th through the 12th to receive your Yeti cooler with a purchase of $1,800 or more. Jason and Todd look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to the Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
You'll get a cooler. She gets the ice. We're going to be hearing a ton of that, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that's running this entire week.
By the way, Knicks just lost their starting center for the rest of the playoffs.
Yep.
What?
Yeah. Mitchell Robinson, stress
What's up with
fracture.
him?
Embiid, quite frankly, it probably goes back to the cheap. I thought Embiid actually could have gotten ejected for what he did.
When he pulled his leg there and he jumped or whatever, right?
Yeah. And so apparently it refractured Robinson's ankle. They found a stress fracture in it.
Oh, I'm going to hear it from Pat today. She was yelling at my neighbors that are the Knicks and Mets fans. She was yelling at me about that not being a flagrant one the other day.
She's still, it's good to see she's still fired up. Lisa Spooner with a little gator video this morning, leaving her neighborhood on the way into the TV station. Oh, yeah, decent size one, too. Not huge, but decent. Oh, yeah, good picture there. Since you guys didn't see it, I'm sending you the 15, 16 seconds final minute of regulation. I just texted it to both of you, in which somebody at Master Control hit the wrong button. It was like, hey, what?
This is the scene, and we are ready to go for a high-powered series in the Western Conference in the second round. But now we say hello and thanks for joining us. Alongside AJ Malesko, I'm Mike Monaco. Leah Hextall joins us. Joe check in the bumper position.
Wow. I have no idea how I missed that. I had it on. I was talking to Jake and his roommate. Yes, Kilo's dad. We do.
The other thing that happened midway through the first overtime with the, superimposing of stuff on the boards for about 5 seconds while Carolina had the puck in the Rangers zone. Okay. And right as a Hurricane's about to wind up and shoot, it said Hurricanes win. They superimposed that for like 3-4 seconds on the boards there. Okay. And so I'm seeing Hurricanes win and I'm hearing McDonough go, save, Shesterkin, rebound. And I'm like, are the two not matched up? What? I kept waiting. I'm like, the puck's got to go in the net here, right? Rangers clear the zone. And I'm like, well, it said Carolina won. Oops.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Top of the morning to you. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. David Bearman, Pro Football Network, will join us a little more than an hour. Seth Everett makes his weekly appearance coming up at the top of the 8 o'clock Eastern hour. And Amanda Christovich, business reporter, front office sports. She's all over the college athletes and trying to unionize in some places. And are they going to be employees in another? And this proposal that one of the associations that they're trying to get the college athletes to join, they're willing to go along with what the NCAA is willing to propose, which sounds an awful lot like they're employees, except they're not employees, but they get the money like they're employees and they collectively bargain like they're employees. Anyway, we'll talk to Amanda about it in a couple hours. It's confusing.
All right. I have a beef's too strong of a word, but I have a small issue with the two of you.
Excuse me?
I'll explain. Last night.
Oh, wait, this goes back to last night.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't. Trent, did you talk to him last night?
No, neither of you did.
He talked to us.
Last night, very early, you had the show rundown done. You were way on your game, which is awesome.
Okay.
And for a little behind the scenes, David books the show. He will then send a text out to the two of us with who the guests are, for Trent, how he has to get a hold of them, information for the both of us on the guests. And then sometimes he adds a little bit onto it. Might be a poll question idea, might be just some factoids or whatever the case may be.
Right. And normally Trent's like, oh, that's super duper. And Mark doesn't respond at all. Is that fair?
Yes.
That's, okay. Thanks. Continue.
So I didn't not respond. I responded
Oh, I know.
with a bang.
Oh, it's like we were watching the game together on the couch. I mean, like, oh my goodness.
I'm still, and the beauty of this was I was still at my daughter's softball game last night.
Oh, so you were bored. That's why you responded. You were looking to,
Well, it
engage.
gave me something to do.
Right. Okay.
Let's be honest. She caught the first 2 innings. After that, she's in the field. The ball doesn't move much. I don't have a lot to do.
Right.
She gets up to the
Gotcha.
plate once every other inning. That's,
Hey, good job.
right.
Right.
So I sent off 4 poll question ideas. 4 rapid fire.
Because I had text them poll question. Today is National Coconut Cream Pie Day, National Have a Coke Day, National Third Shift Day, National School Nurse Day. Did that in honor of my mom, who basically was every kind of nurse she could be. One of them was for 25 years, she was a school nurse. That was one of her jobs.
So I come back with 4 poll question ideas.
Boy, did you ever.
And all I get from Moulton is snark. He just took one of them, changed the word, and gave me snark. Trent, of course, comes with a LMAO, never a dull moment.
A laughing emoji.
And then nothing. No interest in not this is a
Okay.
good idea, this is a bad idea. How about we do this? Nothing from either of them.
Can I be brutally honest? So, ladies and gentlemen, one of the suggestions for a poll question that Mark had was, which athlete would you most want to see in person? All right, which is a solid question. Ohtani, Tiger, LeBron, or Mahomes? That's a solid question, especially since you don't know how much golf Tiger's going to play the rest of his career, if you've never seen him. For that matter, don't know how much hoop LeBron's going to play. Ohtani's playing in Los Angeles, so, how many times are the Dodgers coming east and you'll get a chance to see them? And for that matter, I mean, have you seen Mahomes in person? It's impressive. I didn't have my glasses on. So I grabbed the phone and I looked at your question. And that's why I responded, prison? Alrighty then. Because I looked at the question and thought it said, which athlete would you most want to see in prison?
And I took it as Moulton's just taking my question, coming back with pure snark, has no interest in the question whatsoever. Prison, all righty then.
See, that's what
and
I
I'm
took
like,
it as too.
how about up your you-know-what? I was so done with the both of you after that, you have no idea.
Well,
I'm like,
I took it
this
the
is,
same way.
I was so excited. David sent the text with ideas. I came back with 4. I'm like, this is great. This is all I've ever wanted. Show prep at night. Us getting ready for the show, having a plan as we come into 6 o'clock in the morning the next day. And I get prison. All righty then.
I just realized now, oh, wow. I thought that was which athlete do you want to see in prison? Okay. So I didn't have see, here's the other thing. It's like a big production when I send out that text. It's like I'm done. I take my glasses off. Okay. I'm usually in the living room couch. Both ends of the couch falls into a recliner. So I hit the recliner and I go all the way back. All right. We're still late first period. We're mid first period when I sent
Yeah,
this.
you're mid first period.
Right. It's it's Carolina's tied it at 1, so now I'm getting neat. My work for the night is done. Once I take the glasses off, that's it. I'm done. I'm not, whatever. So I can be brutally honest with you right now. I thought you text, which athlete would you most want to see in prison?
Which might be a really good poll question, but
Well, we need 4 different options.
I don't think these options are very good.
Well,
Rasheed Rice might be high on the list right now.
Right. Ohtani's interpreter.
Right.
Okay. He could be on the list. Right. But Ohtani, I think that'd be going a little far. Right. Gotcha. So I hope I don't do that again. From now on, I guess if either one of you respond to that, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night show text, I guess I have to put my glasses back on.
But it was an early show text. I wasn't texting
Right.
late. This was 7:38 p.m. This
I
was,
know.
like I said, you were on top of I was so fired up. I was ready to go. Let's have a conversation. Let's do some show prep.
Sorry. I did have my glasses on. Person looked like prison.
We have an a-hole moment. We've had our first senior moment on Miller and Moulton.
This podcast brought to you by AARP. Yes. They just sent me another card in the mail, really wanting me to join. My wife's filling it out. I'm ripping it up and throwing it away. Oh boy. So
we'll have a poll question. It
We
might
will.
be one of these, or it might
We
be
will.
something completely different.
which soft drink would you like to see in prison? Coke or Pepsi? Right. What are the other?
Right.
Which soft drink would you rather have in prison? Coke or Pepsi? Right. Mm-hmm. Somehow we'll work it, work the theme of the day in prison into our poll question a little bit later on. I just realized I did that. I'll be darned. Oh boy. That's one of those moments in which, because I don't feel as old as I look. I don't feel as old as I am. Like outside of this cyst that I have near my right thumb, that's the only thing on my body that hurts. Okay. I may look terrible. I'm fat. I've gone gray for a while now. I look older than I am. I feel good. And then it's moments like that in which I realize, wow, you're old, dude. You're old. You thought that word was prison. Man, you can't go anywhere without your glasses. That's how
Yeah,
old you are.
you're on the verge of having to change the font on your phone so you can read it without glasses.
Oh, my goodness. That'll be a very sad day. That will be a sad day. That'll be a belly up to the bar day right there. I will not take that well.
And the problem is we have an indicator that it should be happening already. A very strong indicator that it should be happening already. But
and not only that, I get so mad at my wife every single time I look at my phone and she goes, "Well, you put your glasses on? You got to have your glasses on." I don't need my glasses.
prison person.
Apparently I do, right? She'll be so happy to hear this story. She wants me to have the glasses, tied to the thing around your neck.
Oh, no.
I know. That's what I said. I go, come on now. I'm not that old.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Are you looking to make this Mother's Day unforgettable? Jason and Todd with the Diamond District are excited to help. This year, she'll get the ice and you'll get the cooler. A premium Yeti cooler valued at $300. With their stunning selection of fine diamond jewelry and exotic gemstone jewelry, you'll be sure to find the perfect gift that will help make this Mother's Day special. And with your purchase of $1,800 or more, you'll receive a free premium Yeti cooler valued at $300. Whether you're already part of the Diamond District family or will be meeting them for the first time, you'll fall in love quickly with their selection, quality, value, and experienced non-commissioned team. Jason and Todd are in the store nearly every day and are excited to hand you a premium Yeti cooler when she gets the ice. Visit Jason and Todd with the Diamond District this Mother's Day week from the 8th through the 12th to receive your Yeti cooler with a purchase of $1,800 or more. Jason and Todd look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to the Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I just told my wife the story. She said, "You do know from now on, every time you look at your phone, you don't have your glasses on. All I'm going to say is prison." I go, I deserve that.
David, I'm phoning a friend. Seahawks, Texans.
Seahawks have been to 2 Super Bowls, won one, been around for 50 years. I think that Seahawks bring too much to the equation.
No, my bad. I'm just
he needs just he's playing a stupid game. Now, don't worry about the show, anything else. You play your game. You have a prison talk. You two.
Oh, you want that? The Seahawks.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Seahawks Texans player.
Golly.
David starts doing the comparison. I'm like, well,
You know what he was doing? He was talking about what we were doing on the show the last segment. Right. God forbid we stick to the show. Unbelievable, this place.
This place.
I'm thinking about taking over Tom's office today.
I think you should do it.
How funny would that be if they all walk in and we got our crap all spread out in there?
What are they going to say?
I'm down.
All right, there's 2 guys, Seahawks, Texans, Jadeveon Clowney, and the big tackle, Dwayne Brown. Started with Houston. He held out. They traded him to Seattle. Off the top of my head, that's all I got. I can't put any more effort into that.
Fine. Only need one. Got Clowney.
The Ace Sun is having a big announcement at 1:00 today. That's what they say. Oh, by the way, next Thursday, the 16th, do we have time to record that AD interview after the show?
Yeah.
Thursday, the 16th.
Sure.
Well, I just don't know if you've got golf or something planned. Trent, you?
I work for you guys.
Well,
if we got to do work, we do work.
All right.
I do think it's a great idea.
By the way, it's also something if you need it, because I don't think we'll run it in the next day's show. I think we'll just record it and send it out as a podcast. But it is something that or Memorial Day, something like that.
Yeah.
If you just need segments.
Yeah, good idea.
Now you would have to edit it up, obviously, make it fit and all that.
Right. No problem.
All right. So do we want any of these as a poll question, or do you guys got something else?
No, I mean, which one do you like best?
I like them both.
Good. There were 4.
Right. I was going to say what both are you talking about?
One of the pie ones.
He's he's on a roll this morning. He really is.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. David Bearman of Pro Football Network will join us 1 hour from now. In our 8 o'clock Eastern hour, Seth Everett, Amanda Christovich to join us as well. Hope your week is off to a good start. We get over the hump together. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Did we settle on a poll question, or do we need to the end of the segment to, kind of hash out which one of your tremendous ideas, by the way? I really like the one in which you wondered what 4 athletes would you like to most see in prison.
I really wish you were sitting next to me right now.
I feel as if Trent is the one egging you on and you're going to take it out on me.
No, I'm going to just,
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Move on along.
Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
apparently they've hit a snag. The NFL was going to release its schedule tomorrow night. Turns out they need almost a whole other week. Apparently they don't quite have the whole in and around Christmas thing locked down. Playing the games the Saturday before, and then which 4 teams are going to play on Christmas Day, which is on a Wednesday. So they're still working that out. So the NFL schedule will be released a week from tonight, Wednesday the 15th, which just happens to be 113 days before the season opener. The midway point is we're getting close to the midway point between, Super Bowl and opening day. We're getting close. We're not there yet. It's another about a week and a half. It's right around Memorial Day every year, which is really the midway point of the off season, because this just in, we don't count the preseason. I know some of you do. Some of you are watching the UFL. And I have to admit, those games are getting, the ones that are on ABC and Fox are actually getting about 1 million viewers per game, which, kind of like an NHL regular season game on ABC, to be honest with you. So we can't mock it. Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice, he's having a hell of an offseason. Remember, he's already facing 8 counts for his role in that multi-car crash, high-speed racing in the greater Dallas area, which has left over a half dozen people injured. Fortunately, no one died. Yeah, now Rice is a suspect in an alleged assault inside a Dallas nightclub Monday night. The Chiefs thought he was going to be suspended for roughly half the season just for the car crash.
Which I find fascinating that before this, they were really thinking 8 games for car racing. I mean, of all of the justice in the NFL, 8 games is a lot of games.
It is. But that's what the Chiefs were planning on. If by chance they're right, don't you think if this, if he did beat somebody up in a nightclub, and that seems to be where the police said the evidence is taking him, I mean, is this going to be a Deshaun Watson suspension? Which ended up being that 1 year, what was it, like 11? They said the whole year, but based on appeal and what have you, it ended up being like 11, 12, something like that. Anyway, this is having some NFL people release the scouting report that they had on Rashee Rice entering the draft a little over a year ago. Apparently, there were some NFL teams that didn't even have Rashee Rice on their board because of off-field issues, behavioral issues. Obviously, we didn't hear about any of that last year. He had a terrific rookie season. I mean, might have been Mahomes' second favorite target by the end of the year after Kelsey.
No doubt.
So
I wonder if those teams who didn't want to draft Rice don't draft Georgia Bulldogs.
Well, then the Eagles weren't one of those teams
right.
that had him off the draft board.
It's a good point.
Speaking of wide receivers, we've been mentioning, when the Dolphins late Friday signed Odell, there's still a couple of wide receivers available. One of them, Tyler Boyd. Well, not anymore. Boyd signed a 1-year deal with the Titans. He can get up to $4.5 million. Boyd's 29 years old. He caught 500 passes during his time in Cincinnati for over 6,000 yards and 31 touchdowns. You take a look, by the way, at what the Titans have done to their wide receiver room in the last year. Because they signed Ridley. They had D-Hop. Okay, and now they had Boyd. Never mind that first-round pick from Arkansas, Monk, who hasn't worked out. Not Monk, but who's the kid that they drafted to replace A.J. Brown 3 years ago, and he hasn't worked out at all. Big
Traylon Burks.
There you go, Treylon Burks. I mean, right now, Burks may not make the team, but if Burks finally reaches his potential, that's a hell of a 4 wide receiver set for the Titans. I mean, Will
Now
Levis,
can the quarterback get it to him? It's all on Will Levis.
and this makes sense. Also, Tyler Boyd with the Titans, who's the head coach of the Titans, the former offensive coordinator of the Bengals. Joe Collier. Got to be of a certain age. I mean, first off, he was head coach of the Bills when they were in the AFL in the late 60s, but he was best known as being defensive coordinator for the Broncos' Orange Crush defense of the 70s. And then he was defensive coordinator for over 20 years in Denver. He was their D coordinator with Elway's first 2 Super Bowl teams. Joe Collier died at the age of 91. Golf. It wasn't just Taylor Gooch who got an invite, Mark. It turns out 7 LIV players received invitations from the PGA of America to play in next week's PGA Championship at Valhalla in Louisville. Besides Gooch, Patrick Reed, Joaquin Neiman, Dean Burmeister, Lucas Herbert, Adrian Marouk, and David Puig, which is a fascinating story. Puig 2 years ago was a 22-year-old ranked like 2,000 in the world. And when the LIV is not playing, he's playing the Asian Tour, and he's crushing it. And so all these guys playing the LIV who are losing status on the world golf rankings, David Puig has played his way all the way up to 106 in the world while being full-time on LIV for the last 2 years. And so the PGA of America said, I know you're outside the top 100, and everybody else we invited is inside the top 100, but you know what? A little respect for your effort. We're going to give you an invitation as well. 16 LIV golfers in the field. PGA of America holding out 2 more spots based on what happens at the Wells Fargo this week. NHL, the San Jose Sharks ended up winning the NHL draft lottery. I know you all watched. I know you were all. By the way, I didn't realize this. So apparently they record that sucker at 5:45 and they air it at 6:30. And they have a whole bunch of people that are monitoring it to make sure that, eventually the word gets out, the fix isn't in and what have you. But literally they all have to turn in their phones. But then I guess when they were done, they handed out the phones, and John Buccigross took a picture of a board. And, people were like, did you just divulge the results of the lottery? And the lottery hasn't aired yet. So he got in trouble for that. Anyway, Sharks won it. Not a single mark of the 16 teams who didn't make the playoffs. They were slotted 1 through 16 entering the draft lottery. That's literally how they were.
That's never happened before, right?
Yeah, never. Even in NBA, have you ever seen the draft lottery where nobody moves up? So Blackhawks will pick second, Anaheim third. Finalists for the MVP, the Hart Trophy, Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, and Nikita Kucherov of the Lightning. 3 finalists for the Hart Trophy. 2 tremendous playoff games last night. They both went overtime. In fact, the first one, Rangers and Carolina, went double overtime. Shesterkin with 54 saves. And then Vincent Trocheck scored a power play goal midway through the second overtime. Rangers 4-3. That was the result of game 1 also, albeit in regulation. Rangers up 2 spit on the Canes. Dallas led 3-0 at home after the first period against Colorado, and the Avs came all the way back. 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and Miles Wood with the game winner midway through the first overtime. Avs take game 1. 4-3. 2 games tonight, both on ESPN, 7:30, Bruins and Panthers. Home team needs a win to even that series. And game 1, finally, Edmonton and Vancouver, 10 o'clock on ESPN. By the way, Pat Kerwin, if you're listening, your Blades beat Orlando 4-2. They're up 3-0. They're a game away from the conference final as they try to three-peat. Okay. NBA. Couple of yawners last night. The 1 seeds at home, and they were never threatened. Celtics by 25, 120-95 over Cleveland. Celtics had 18 threes, 7 of them by Derek White. Jaylen Brown had 32 in the win. Meanwhile, OKC led by 10 at the half, led by about that going to the fourth, and then dominated the fourth quarter. They beat Dallas 117-95. SGA with 29. The Mavs shot just 39% for the game, and they were out-rebounded by 13. Game 2 tonight, Pacers and Knicks. Knicks just lost Mitchell Robinson, their starting center, out for the rest of the playoffs. So they got Robinson, Randall, 2 starters in their front court, and then their first big off the bench, arguably Bogdanovich, or second big off the bench, he's out for the playoffs as well. So their normal 8/9-man rotation, they're missing 3 of them. I'm telling you, this Knicks run could end like tonight. Seriously. This is Randall and a bunch of role players. I mean, this is not, everybody's going, it's a New York team, what have you. They ain't going much further, folks.
Brunson and a bunch of role players.
I know. Sorry, I said Randall. It's
That's
early in the morning. Cut me some slack. Rudy Gobert wins his 4th Defensive Player of the Year award. He joins Mutombo and Ben Wallace. There's a lot of people that thought Wembayama should have won it. You take a look at
his second, right?
He did, but Wembayama averaged 3.5 blocks a game. Gobert 2. Steals, he had nearly twice as many steals per game. Deflections, he had a lot more deflections on the year. I mean, if you go by stats, the kid should have won it. Here's my question.
No rookies ever won Defensive Player of the Year.
Right. And because then he would have won Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, and obviously no one will have done that. Should the Defensive Player of the Year always be a big guy? Since there are very few big guys in the NBA. I mean, since the game is played on the perimeter, shouldn't they start switching who they vote for in this award? Shouldn't it be a lockdown wing defender or shooting guard defender? Shouldn't it? Just asking. Jamal Murray, by the way, we're right. They were going to throw as big a fine as they could at him, and they threw $100,000, but no suspension for throwing that towel and heating pad on the court. So he'll play game 3.
Apparently, if you throw things on the court, it's just a fine. If you throw them directly at the official, apparently it's your aim. That's the most important part.
That
by
wasn't
what
they justified
That's
it.
how they justified it. His aim was bad.
Right. Which is funny because if we as fans throw it on the court, we'll go to jail.
Where is it?
Rays win their 5th in a row, 5-1 over the White Sox. Arozarena, another homer. Phillies have won 7 in a row, 10-1 over Toronto. Braves with 2 in the 8th beat the Red Sox 4-2. They snap a 3-game skid. Texas beat Oakland 15-8. They scored 10 times in the second, but we had the over-under Tuesday afternoon in Oakland at 4,500, and we both went under, and it was under 39.65 for the A's and the Rangers. Andy Ibanez with 2 homers for the Tigers, 11-7 over the Guardians. Corbin Carroll, a homer, 5 RBIs. Arizona 6-2 over our Reds, Mark. Washington's above 500. They shut out the Orioles 3-0. Dodgers 8-2 over the Marlins. Angels beat the Pirates. Man, my pick about the Pirates, it looked good for 3 weeks. They have sucked for the last 3 weeks. 9-0 Angels. Mets scored 6 in the 6th, beat the Cardinals 7-5. Yankees 10-3 over the Astros. Most runs Verlander. He gave up 7. He's given up in a game in like 7 years. Brewers were down to their final strike. Then Willie Adames hit a 3-run homer. They beat the Royals 6-5. Michael Busch with a game-winning homer in the 9th for the Cubs, 3-2 over the Padres. Mariners 4 in the 9th beat the Twins 10-6. And the Colorado Rockies are 8-27. 8-27. That's like a 23 winning percentage. Giants shut them out 5-0. And at 8 minutes before the hour, gentlemen, that was
the Starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
Had some good drama, though, in baseball last night. I mean, the Royals were up 5-3, 2 outs, nobody on. Brewers come back and win that 6-5. Cubs with a walk-off homer. I mean, that's some good stuff going on. Tell you what, just if there's a pool out there, first baseball manager fired, get your money on the Blue Jays guy. They're below 500. They got pounded last night. He got ejected.
And the players saying everything, the mood's fine around here. Play a lot of talk that everything's fine. That leads you to believe you're right on that, David.
Don Mattingly's the bench coach. It'll just take 8 minutes to move him over as manager. If If there's a prop bet out there, first manager fired, bet the guy in Toronto.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Are you looking to make this Mother's Day unforgettable? Jason and Todd with the Diamond District are excited to help. This year, she'll get the ice and you'll get the cooler. A premium Yeti cooler valued at $300. With their stunning selection of fine diamond jewelry and exotic gemstone jewelry, you'll be sure to find the perfect gift that will help make this Mother's Day special. And with your purchase of $1,800 or more, you'll receive a free premium Yeti cooler valued at $300. Whether you're already part of the Diamond District family or will be meeting them for the first time, you'll fall in love quickly with their selection, quality, value, and experienced non-commissioned team. Jason and Todd are in the store nearly every day and are excited to hand you a premium Yeti cooler when she gets the ice. Visit Jason and Todd with the Diamond District this Mother's Day week from the 8th through the 12th to receive your Yeti cooler with a purchase of $1,800 or more. Jason and Todd look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to the Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
David, you ever miss doing your column?
No. It weighed on me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It weighed on me constantly.
How long did you do it for?
10 years.
Wow. Twice a week?
3.
Wow.
Started out as once, but I'd say 7 or 8 years I was doing 3 a week. And then at the end, I was back down to twice a week. So what question we go with? Which one do you like best? No, seriously. I'm not being a jerk. Which one did you like best? Did you want to go pie? Did you want to go Coke Pepsi? Did you want to go with the sports one?
Do you like those athletes? Are you fine with those athletes?
Yeah. Otani's Ohtani, just so that you spell it right.
Oh, I knew I had it wrong on there.
Also, and I don't know, does LeBron capital B LeBron
Yes.
or no?
Yes.
So it's capital L, capital B, right?
Yep.
We can tomorrow put which one you'd most like to see in prison.
There you go. That could be our second poll question, midway through the show. I told my wife the story. She's so happy. It's like, from now on, just going to say prison. Trent, seriously, though, about your play of the day, okay, we give you a little extra time.
Yeah, I've got both.
Yeah, but then, you intro the first one, play it. It should be Kenny Albert's radio call is out
Yeah,
there.
I found both radio calls. Which one do you want to do first?
I'd go chronologically. I would just say, the first one, blah, 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 and then,
Okay.
To Kilo's dad, you must have heard me wrong. Okay, you said Matthews for the Hart. He's not even a finalist. Think about it. Crosby, Panarin, Matthews didn't even make finalists. Think of the years that all three of them had. Because the finalists are McDavid, McKinnon, Kucherov. Scored 69 goals. You're not even a finalist for the Hart. I thought Crosby was the best two-way player in the league this year.
Also, David, sorry for cutting you off on the Brunson Randall thing. I wasn't trying to be a
No. I was just giving you snark back. I'm like, yeah,
No,
I screwed up. It's early in the morning. The wires aren't touching, man. They don't touch before about 8:30. No, it was right. I'm glad you corrected me. We don't want to give out bad information.
Right, because we know if we give out misinformation about the NBA, we're going to get loads of texts. Okay, here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Thanks for being with us. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. David Bearman, Pro Football Network, a little more than 30 minutes time. Seth Everett, 1 hour from now. The Molly Maid play of the day. Probably have a couple of them since we had a couple of hockey games that went overtime. I couldn't believe, by the way. I mean, how soft do our listeners think I am? Don't answer that. I found out last night because there's a few people who have my cell phone number. And they know I'm a Rangers fan. And we've talked openly about how proud you and we wear it as a badge of honor. We're big hockey fans. When playoff games go to overtime, we watch and we commit to the whole damn thing. And in very rare instances when we're just exhausted, and usually it's a West Coast game and we got this show that we go, no, sorry, boys, can't make the commitment tonight. But if it's deep in the playoffs, we'll even make the commitment. This is game 2 of a second-round series. My hockey team goes to overtime. I got people, everybody. You going to watch the overtime?
No, I'm going to bed.
It's 10 o'clock.
It's an important game or anything.
What, are you serious? Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I'll watch 5 overtimes. Are you kidding? Yeah. Oh, man, we're in. We're all in on this sucker.
With 3 power plays between the 2 overtimes and
I can't believe it. Can't believe it.
I mean, they each had 1 in the first overtime. And the Rangers win with a power play goal in the second.
Yeah, not sure. But, I mean, put it this way. That penalty doesn't – I mean, was it a cross-check? Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's a cross-check. But midway through the second overtime, you're calling, whoa, you're officiating this sucker like it's a Tuesday in February.
Or like it's an NBA game. Because David Sampson yesterday on our show made the point that the NBA wants the Knicks in the conference final. I can't argue that. It's of course they do.
Right.
Not as much as the NHL wants the Rangers in the conference final. Because Rangers Bruins versus Panthers Canes. Hello.
Well, and even if the Panthers, whoever comes out of this, I mean, they do want the Bruins. Absolutely. But the Panthers are favored to win the series, even though they lost game 1. So the NHL is like, oh, well, then you got to give us the Rangers. I mean, if
Carolina was favored to win the series.
I know. And still, they were favored going into last night, too. I think they're still, I don't know. Is now the first time they're not favored to win the series? Because heading into last night, Carolina down 1-0 without home ice was still favored to win the series over the team who had the most points during the regular season. But, Mark, I got to be honest with you. I texted a few friends last night. When it went to overtime, I said next goal wins the series.
I didn't disagree. I was talking to my son. We said the same thing. My son, who lives in North Carolina and for whatever reason hates the Carolina Hurricanes with every bit of fiber in his body. I mean, when I get a text, because I had texted him when Getzel scored the goal to tie it, because it was just a ridiculous pass by Sebastian Aho off the boards. He just rifled a pass, perfect spot, and Getzel one time, and it was a beautiful goal.
It was.
And when the Rangers scored the next goal, I'm getting a "Let's go Rangers" text from my kid. I'm like, what in the hell is going on?
But listen, we just saw Dallas down 2-0 come back in the first round. Rangers were up 2-0 last year, lost. They were up 2-0 conference final 2 years ago and lost. I mean, a 2-0 lead in hockey is not nearly the deal. We saw the Panthers down 3-1 in the first round last year, go all the way to the finals. So the deficits don't seem as daunting nowadays as they seemed when you and I were growing up, especially. Like Trent's generation in hockey and hoop, they 2-0 doesn't do anything. It's got to get to 3-0. Maybe 3-1, they start to go, I don't know if we can come back from this. But 2-0, it's like, we going home?
But at the same point, 2-0 on the road, like what the T-Wolves have done to Denver, everybody thinks that sucker's over.
Yes. Especially since Jamal Murray's clearly not 100%. Which, by the way, part of the reason that the Nuggets never played at the level that they played at last year before was because Jamal Murray has trouble staying healthy. Like, he was healthy in the pandemic, in the bubble, and they went to the conference final. Next 2 years, not healthy. They lost early. Last year, healthy. They win the title. This year, he gets hurt in the second round. Guess what's happened to the Nuggets? They're losing.
So, and they need him on the defensive end as much as they do to score. And when you're banged up, you can't expect anything on the defensive end, or not nearly as much.
So the Molly Maid play of the day coming up in roughly 20 minutes time. You can text the show 21,000. Text to your heart's content. If you've never texted the show before, you need to send a keyword at 21,000 the first time. FSN Radio, that's the keyword, FSN Radio. And then you're in. And then it's like a security gate. Now you're a member, and you can just text away. And we're live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton. You can see us, and you can comment in the Twitch chat room. So there you go. I was looking forward to the schedule being released tomorrow. I got to be honest. Putting it off a week is I was looking forward to it because I want to schedule some flights, and I'm ready. And the NFL needs to give me, I'm ready for another order of wings. And they just said to me, you're going to have to wait another week before we give you that order of 20 wings. And I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? I'm ready to eat now.
And everybody around you's got their food, and you're sitting there with an empty table.
Thank you.
A water and a 3/4 drink diet soda. And you're wondering where the hell your wings are.
Right. And I don't want to keep bothering the waitress, but it's like, listen, if it's going to take this long, I need more water. And by the way, stop pouring all the ice in it too. You just pour it from the side. I only want the water. I know I'm one of those. By the way, do you have any lemon? See, so that's why, you really only want to do, you've eaten with me. What do I like to do at the very beginning? Listen, I'm fat, I eat quickly, and I drink a lot. So you probably just bring a pitcher. Just bring a pitcher, put it on the
Even
table.
though your restaurant doesn't have pitchers and you don't serve pitchers of soda or water to anybody else, I'm special. And
well, that's not
I'm
what I
doing
mean.
this to save you time.
I am. I'm just save you trips because otherwise, every 6 minutes, I need a new drink. So just bring the pitcher, little thing of lemon, and then you can literally just forget about me. And because of Mark Miller, I tip a lot better. Okay, I tip like 40% now instead of that 22% that I always used to do. I just throw money at you.
22%. Was that like a?
That was my thing.
That's your number?
It was like 15 years ago. And we got off on a tangent about tipping and what have you. Because to me, 15% is a stiff. You give somebody 15%, the wait staff looks at you like, seriously? Okay, so, and then, but I didn't want to be a big tipper in part because I didn't have money. And not like I have it now. I don't. But Mark looked at me and went, really? And I go, well, I don't want to go 20%. I want to be a little more than that. But once you start getting 25% or above, it's like, ooh, and I don't have that kind of money.
But David was convinced because there was a time that the 15% tip was the rule. That was the industry standard. David thought that 22% was a colossal tip. And I had
I don't know about colossal.
You thought you were a big tipper. Those are the words you use. I'm a big tipper. I tip 22%. I started laughing, and I'm like, "That's not a big tip, David."
Right.
And he got mad at me, so I had to go to the text line, and
the service industry told me that basically I'm a slouch.
They didn't say you were a slouch. They said you were. That's a nice tip, but that's not an extra. That's nothing above and beyond. You're a fine tipper, but you're not getting any extra special service. Of being a guy that tips 22%. That's all it really was. And David felt as if he had done the work to deserve a little extra.
And I wanted better service, so I started throwing more money on the table. But what Trent used to happen was Miller and Moulton would do remotes. And what I would do is I would like hand, because we're going to be there 4 or 5 hours. We're doing our show. And so I would hand, you're going to be waiting on us? Yes. And so I'd put a 10 or a 20 in their hand right away. And just say, listen, we're going to be on the air, but we don't have a lot of time when we need something. If we raise our hand, if you could come over, that'd be great. And the first 2 times I did it, the person took the money and their shift ended right as our show was starting. So when I said, are you going to be waiting on us? Technically, they didn't lie, but the answer was yes for the next 23 minutes. And then it's going to be Susie right over here. And so literally the next 2 remotes that we did, and Mark kept looking at me going, boy, your money goes far, doesn't it? I go, yeah, it sure does. It goes right to the parking lot. So that could be our poll question, by the way, about tips. What's our poll question?
Our poll question is up. Which athlete would you most want to see in person? Ohtani, Tiger, LeBron, Mahomes.
By the way, how many of them have you seen?
I've seen Tiger.
Never LeBron?
No. I haven't been to honestly, I have not been to a live NBA game. I don't know if I ever went to an NBA game in the Palace. I think the last NBA game that I saw saw a Hawks game at the Omni where I just kind of walked in and saw a couple quarters when I worked there. But the last game I paid for would probably have been a Pistons game in the Silverdome.
Big building for the NBA.
Did a lot of weekday Silverdome games in which we would buy cheap seats, tip an usher to sit in good seats.
Move around. David, what about you? How many of the 4?
3 of the 4. I haven't seen Ohtani. So, and I got to tell you, the way he's playing right now, he's worth the price of admission.
And that was the crux of the question for me, because that's the guy that I'd want to see.
He's leading the league in homers. Was hitting 370 entering last night's game. I mean, and remember, he's making $2 million this year. They're deferring 68. I don't know if he's going to be worth the money in 2035, but in 2024, he's a bargain.
Man, they backloaded that contract.
Well, they're trying to get around taxes. They figure that, pay me as little as you can here while I'm working in California with the California taxes. Then I'm going to retire to wherever. We're not going to have the California taxes. Then you can start paying me.
Well, not to mention, this keeps it away from any interpreter trying to steal his money
Well,
from him.
that's
It's a
true.
safety net as well. Miller and Moulton. David Bearman from Pro Football Network will join us in 25 minutes. Thanks for listening.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Despicable D, aren't the Dodgers owned by like a conglomerate, though? That is worth multiple billions.
Billions. Okay, so it was Rangers first, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Just asking, because
Yep.
I didn't watch.
Yeah, because that Celtics game was riveting. Cleveland, what is it? What was the number I gave? 24.5. They've lost their road games by, and they got beat. So that number went up.
Right, because they lost by 25.
Game was never close either.
Never.
You know who's not playing well except for one game so far in the playoffs?
Donovan Mitchell.
Luka.
Oh, Luka.
The Timberwolves and OKC both have not lost yet in the playoffs.
I love this T-Wolves team. Like the only player, I even love like Mike Conley. The only player on that team that I don't necessarily care for is Rudy Gobert.
Do you blame them for the pandemic?
No, it's not even that. It's just
I was just being snarky.
Yep. Fixed.
sorry about that.
Can't happen, buddy.
I know. Thank you for letting us know, by the way.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I think we had a Mac sighting in
Yep.
the Twitter chat room earlier.
It's fixed. Thank you. Good news is the text line's not working today because some accounts, some passwords got to be changed. And I wonder when Marty will get around to that right before the huge show starts, I'm sure. So my dessert, do I tip it at a Subway type restaurant? Well, no, like at a Moe's or a Five Guys, I do not tip. I think it's ridiculous. To-go orders, I do tip. At a restaurant, I do tip a to-go order. I usually tip about 10% on a to-go order.
I do 20 standard.
On to-go orders?
No. I'm just
That's
saying
what
in general. Yeah. To go orders, it's, you still got a tip, but it's not like they're not
Correct.
waiting on you, so it's not worth the same.
Now, for the $2.99 hot dog day, I tipped like 50% yesterday. No, about 75%.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. David Bearman, Pro Football Network, will join us a little more than 15 minutes time. Seth Everett at the top of the hour. Amanda Christovich. We're going to dive into another possible solution path for this whole college sports athlete. How we're going to pay you. Are you going to be employees? Anyway, Amanda Christovich, Front Office Sports, doing a good job following all the proposals, all the lawsuits. She will join us a little more than an hour from now. By the way, she's young, and the last time we had her on, she made a reference in which she said, quote, and it was all the way back in the, and she paused and then said, 80s. So she's Trent's favorite guest. Okay, for that, because Trent saw the blood leave the faces of Miller and Moulton as she was talking about this book that talked about the plight of the college athlete that was all the way back in the 80s.
And it has since become a running joke on the show.
Right.
And we'll let her in on it today when she joins us.
Right. So at some point, though, it's not right away.
No.
The blood is still trying to get back in our faces. That was so damaging. Oh, my goodness. So Amanda Christovich in a little more than an hour from now.
Poll question is up. Which athlete would you most want to see in person? Ohtani, Tiger, LeBron, Mahomes. Right now, Tiger getting the majority of the vote.
I think it's an interesting question. See in person. You don't know how much longer we have of LeBron. How many people have gone to an NBA game during the last 20 years? On this show, the NBA is not popular. Trent, you're a big NBA guy. How many NBA games have you gone to in the last 15 years?
8 or 9, probably.
So you've seen LeBron?
I have seen LeBron twice, for what it's worth. I saw him play in Cleveland. This was interesting. It was actually during the coming out of the pandemic when Cleveland was starting to let fans back in. So I think there was only 5,000 fans in there. And
okay.
my buddy had tickets. He's from Cleveland. And then I also saw him play in Detroit once. But that was after a Lions game. It's like we're walking over. We might as well. Lions just beat the Vikings. We might as well go into the I almost said the Palace and see LeBron play.
How many have seen Tiger? And now, when he's going to be playing 4 to 6 tournaments a year, one of them's at the Masters. Most of us can't get tickets to that. How many of us are going to go to the Open Championship? All right. So you got a PGA, a U.S. Open. How many other tournaments is he going to play in the States where you can see him?
That's a great point. The difficulty in getting a ticket for when Tiger Woods is playing is up there.
You know, he didn't even play the Players this year. Did he play Bay Hill?
No.
No. So, I mean, also he's 48. How much longer do you think Tiger plays? Like Phil's what, 53? I mean, does Tiger play? And Phil just gave an interview last week in which he said, I'm just about at the end because he can't play on the Champions Tour. He's been banned. You know, PGA Tour owns it, and he's banned. So not that he would want to, but he did play a few events on the Champions Tour when he turned 50. And so, you know, Phil has said, yeah, I'm just about done.
You know, that is interesting. He can't play on the Champions Tour. That tour would love to have Phil Mickelson playing on the tour.
You think?
One of the biggest draws ever in the game's history.
Mm-hmm.
And now showing up at Champions events in places where you don't get to see the Champions Tour doesn't have a lot of names on it right now.
And the biggest names are older.
Right.
You know, Freddie, Longer, what have you. They're, you know, Longer's mid-60s. Freddie's, I think, early 60s. Yeah. Do you think, and obviously this is not the reason they do it, but the talk is that if they're ever going to bring the golf world back together again, that it's not going to happen until the 2026 at the earliest? Well, would that be right around the time that Phil finishes out this year and plays next year? And I think once he's done next year, like he can play the Masters forever. He can play the Open Championship as a fellow champ until he's 60. So he's got basically the rest of the decade there. But, you know, once his PGA Championship win, what was that, 2021?
Does that give him 10 at that?
5.
Only 5, okay.
Oh, no, you're right. I think for the PGA, I think it gives him 10, but it only gives him 5 U.S. Opens. And this will be his 4th because he won the PGA 3 weeks before the U.S. Open. So he's only got this one and one more U.S. Open probably. And, you know, if you're the USGA, you're giving out a special exemption to a guy in his mid-50s. Now, they gave Jack one so he could play Pebble in 2000 when he was 60, but it's Jack. I mean, I love Phil, and he is one of the 15 greatest golfers of all time, maybe even top 10, but he ain't Jack. With Jack's history at that course also. So Phil could just about be done, Mark, except for playing the Masters and the Open Championship after next year. But if all of a sudden the two tours come to some sort of an agreement and they lift the ban penalty, you know, all of a sudden, is Phil playing the Champions Tour in 2026?
Time now for our play of the day. We go to Tom Izzo. Mark D'Antonio. Trent Bally.
Yeah, you should see the video, folks. He is a coach on the sidelines today, all green and white.
Yeah, he's a grad assistant today is what he is, really.
Yeah.
Can grad assistants wear hats? I don't know. Well, at least mine isn't on backwards, right? Couple of great games in the NHL, Stanley Cup playoffs during, last night's action. We start in the Garden. David's Rangers are hosting the Miami Hurricanes. Look at me. This one,
Boy, he's a hockey guy.
Boy, he's all over this.
Wow.
How can you screw this up? Hey, both games go overtime. They're both 4-3. Just get to it.
Run the tape.
Just come
Vanderjagt
on.
back to the Hurricane zone down the left side. Puck taken away by Burns. Kept alive by Kreider. Sending it back out for a shot. It's blocked. Vanderjagt towards the net. Knocked down. Trocheck scores! He scores! Vincent Trocheck wins game 2 in double overtime and is bombed by his Ranger teammates.
Rangers up 2-0 in that series, David. How you feeling?
Well, for the first time, I think they're going to win the series, to be honest. Yeah, I even thought last night Carolina was going to win the series. Carolina, it's amazing. The Rangers are getting all these power play chances, and Carolina's special teams right now are horrible. They had the third best power play in the league and the best penalty kill in the league, and the Rangers have scored, 3-4 power play goals, and the Carolina power play is 0 for 10. I mean, they're getting destroyed on special teams right now.
An hour or so later, we got more bonus hockey. Avalanche visiting the Stars for the series opener. They spoiled the night for the Dallas fans.
Oh, finally, he clears Miles Wood in space. He's got some speed. Wood towards the net. He scores! Reach for the sky!
Reach for the sky. I love that. I don't know what that is. That must be his thing. It was good.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the guy on the Altitude Radio Network. He's a long time. When the Avs and the Lightning were in the finals against one another 2 years ago, you had him and Michigan as the radio voices.
Some screamers there.
Yeah.
And that's our Molly Maid plays of the day. A couple of overtime goals for you. Molly Maid, 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839.
Miller and Moulton. David Bearman, Pro Football Network, will join us next. Seth Everett, the top of the hour. Where else? Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason. And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GIA certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commissioned and educational presentation and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
EB is never going to let me live down the 7-Eleven pizza thing. Ever. And I love it.
Yes, Wes, they did. For 16 seconds in the final minute of the Rangers Carolina game.
Racetrack
Oh.
pizza. Yes. Same vibe. Probably the same recipe.
Somebody at ESPN screwed up, Wes.
Plus, the Rangers were on a power play in the final minute of regulation. So, you're thinking there's a real chance the Rangers score here.
Prison? I pulled up the text because I gotta call David. And I'm just reminded of the conversation. Which athlete would you most want to see in person? Prison? Alrighty then.
And I'm like, is he just being snark? Like I decide to have
Right.
4 poll questions and I get just snark immediately back. I'm like, the hell with the both
Well,
of you.
that's why I said never a dull moment, because I knew that he misread it, but I didn't know if he was being snarky or if.
No, I just didn't have my glasses on. I thought Mark actually said, which one of these 4 do you want to see in prison? I'm like, man, he's in a bad mood.
Why don't you vote and retweet it?
Lock him up.
I did.
Okay. It only has it with 1 retweet right now. So
I think I'm the retweet.
you are. I wasn't. I thought I did. Apparently I didn't.
You guys are just. Oh.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. Seth Everett to join us top of the hour. Amanda Christovich from Front Office Sports. 1 hour from now, David Bearman, kind enough to join us from Pro Football Network, profootballnetwork.com. Follow David on X at David Bearman, Bearman PFN. David Bearman PFN. David, it's David and Mark. It's been a while. How you been?
Good. You know the drill. Just pouring the kiddos cereal and talking to you guys. Just another great day. Nice and cloudy outside in beautiful Connecticut.
What's the cereal choice for the kiddos?
Today it's Lucky Charms, or as my 7-year-old calls them, monkey arms. So monkey arms and Lucky Charms for the kids this morning.
All right. Good deal. Hey, you do a lot of things. Not just Pro Football Network, but, you're involved with content, sports betting, elsewhere. But can we talk about gambling just a touch here? We've noticed the TV ratings for everything except the NBA are up, and they're up noticeably. And is it a coincidence, or is it because we now have legalized sports betting in 40-plus states?
I mean, I think the betting impact definitely increases the engagement. Back when I was with ESPN and we were discussing how we were going to use sports betting if and when it became legalized, or it became not banned, same thing as became legalized. The whole chat we had was engagement, fan engagement. It wasn't so much to get people to bet, it was to get people to a position where they use it in the same way they use fantasy sports, and that's engagement. Nowadays, I tell the story often. I went home for a wedding back in 2016 down to Fort Lauderdale and Miami, and I went to a Dolphins game. And when I walked in as a season ticket holder, they handed me basically a small mini device / TV thing where the whole object was to input your fantasy team. And then it basically was a red zone for your fantasy team. I was at a professional football game trying to watch the Dolphins, and I had a TV in front of me that was showing me every play of all my fantasy players. So the engagement there was, even though you're at a Dolphins game, we want you to be engaged with the entire NFL. Now, the company that owned that device also owned the Miami Dolphins. So there was a reason for that, as there always is with business. The point I'm making is it's all about fan engagement. And if you're betting on a game, you're more likely to watch the game. So therefore, betting being legal in 35 to 40 states, ratings go up because people are now watching it for more reasons. Like, let's say you were a New York Jets fan. My apologies to those sad people out there who were for the Jets. Your season was over 4 plays into the season when Aaron Rodgers went down. So why are you going to watch the next 17 weeks of the season? Well, maybe because you're betting on the game. If your fantasy team is eliminated when you're 4-7 after week 11, you still need another reason to watch, and that's betting. Same thing can be said for NBA, where you're either a good team or a bad team. There's no middle ground in the NBA. And if you're betting on it, you're more likely to watch it than not. And I think the engagement level when it comes to legalized sports betting is the reason why the ratings are up across the board.
And obviously, football being the behemoth that they are, they're taking advantage on all ends. A couple other things you guys have been working on the site, just trying to, now that free agency is about done, the draft's done, looks like you're trying to start lining up, the rankings. This is the ranking season, isn't it, as we get ready for the regular season?
It is. It's rankings and what we call listicles is the different lists that we're working on as well. At some point down the line, you'll be able to find, best Dolphins quarterbacks of all, well, I should say quarterback of all time. You'll be able to find best games of all time. You'll be able to find best tight ends of all time on the site. And yes, rankings for this year's rankings, next year, all-time rankings, etc. That is what we're working on, because really free agency is behind us, the draft behind us. The next big thing is the schedule release, which is next Wednesday. Thankfully, it's coming. It's going to finally come. The NFL finally let us know after their song and dance and not letting us know for weeks. And what else is there before training camp? We want engagement as well. And that stirs up a lot of debate. If we come up with a list of best quarterbacks of all time, individualized by teams as well, we cover the Dolphins, the Bengals, the Cowboys. We have a bunch of employees that follow the Eagles, the Chiefs, and the Niners. So you'll see rankings and lists for those various things with different positions, different teams. We'll have a mascot thing, a whole bunch of different rankings that'll be coming your way on Pro Football Network.
David Bearman, PFN. David Bearman, Bearman, PFN. That's how you follow him on X. Pro Football Network, ProFootballNetwork.com. You can follow Pro Football Network on X at PFN 365. Hey, you mentioned the Cowboys. We've been beating them up pretty good for seemingly the whole offseason. Are we wrong about something? Is there an actual rhyme and reason to what Jera and Steven are doing, and that the Cowboys offseason is not as bad as we think it is? Or have they literally been out to lunch?
I mean, I think the Cowboys are a strong 11-win team that you saw last year that will lose in the first or second round of the playoffs. It's the same team minus a running back situation where I think their ownership group is out to lunch, thinking that they can survive without any semblance of a running back at all on that team. I'm not putting all my eggs in the Zeke Elliott basket. We've seen what happened when running backs are overused and go off the hill. I think they're just a little bit misguided as to what they have, and if Jerry would think before he spoke on certain times, we may not bash him as much as we do, because if the Cowboys were to do nothing and say nothing, bringing back last year's roster is not the end of the world. I mean, that was a team that almost won the division. That was a team that obviously put up a horrible first half performance against the Packers, but going into that game, you still had the Cowboys as a potential team to beat in the NFC. You literally, minute before that Green Bay game started, that stunned everybody, the Cowboys were still a potential team to beat in the NFC. So bringing that whole roster back wouldn't have been the end of the world. But when your owner / GM comes out and says, we're all in, and does absolutely nothing, that's you're setting yourself up. So I think what Jerry needs to do first and foremost is hire a better PR guy. But he, a lot of these owners and GMs, they have a method to their madness where they speak for an agenda. Jerry seems to not necessarily do that in the most effective way, because you don't go out there and tell the world you're all in and then do absolutely nothing. So they're getting criticized for the right reasons. I still think they're a solid 11-win team that'll make the playoffs, won't go very far, and then you'll probably see the end of the Mike McCarthy era. And maybe that's just what it is. He wanted McCarthy to play out the string, and I don't know the method to his madness. If there is one, I just wish he would, if he's going to speak, think about it before he says things that he can't back up.
And, someone in the talk radio business, I'd like him to keep speaking without thinking, because it makes life a lot more fun for the rest of us. If I don't know if Dallas lost the offseason, but they're certainly not winning it. Who, in your estimation, has done a much better job? It's got to be the Bears, right? Of who's won the offseason.
Yeah, top to bottom, between free agency and the draft, you have to look at the Bears, who have added weapons across the board. You have the draft weapon in your quarterback, and then you have the wide receiver weapons that you made moves in the offseason. So I do think the Bears significantly increased their scope, especially on the offensive side. I would look at the Houston Texans as well. There was a team that shocked a lot of people, going from virtually a play away from the number one pick to having an outstanding draft, and then all of a sudden having the rookie of the year, followed by an offseason where you traded for Stephon Diggs. So I think they're in a position where they have a dynamic offense surrounded by a solid quarterback. I think the Texans have done a really, really good job. I would put them right there with the Bears in terms of winning the offseason. Those two teams, it would surprise me I think the Texans will go ahead and win that division like they did last year, and the Bears will make a run. They won't win the division because I think the Lions are better. The Packers are probably better, and you're still talking about a rookie quarterback. But those are the two teams that I would put out as the ones that really won the offseason.
Do you think the Bears are a playoff team? I mean, my concern, quite frankly, is the quarterback position. It's all on Caleb Williams. Right now, the backup is Tyson, Badgett. Brett Rippon's a third-string quarterback. I mean, that's as poor a quarterback room before Caleb throws a pass as there is in the league, quite frankly. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The backup quarterback situation, David, in that division, Hendon Hooker, we don't know if he can play. The Lions are a Super Bowl contender. Sean Clifford's behind Jordan Love. I mean, I got to be honest. somebody's got in that division's got to sign Ryan Tannehill, I think. I mean, you can't go into the season with that quarterback room.
No, and for the most part across the NFL, with the very rare exception that you see, like with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, for the most part, your quarterback goes down. You're not making the playoffs for the most part in the NFL as it is, but you are right. Like, that's an interesting division because you have really good starting quarterbacks, potential good starting quarterbacks, even with Minnesota and Chicago having rookie quarterbacks. But the backups are atrocious across the board. So any one of those teams is a one bad hit away from being irrelevant. And it would be just like Chicago for that to happen and to get another top 5 pick to go along with all the others they've had. Now, when I said playoff team, I think they'll be a playoff contender if Caleb stays healthy. I don't think they're winning that division, but the NFC isn't that strong anyway. You only really go 5 deep in the NFC before you start, flipping coins and say, oh, well, the Rams are in it this year. Oh, the Packers are in it this year. Those are teams that I picked the Rams last year, but I did not pick the Packers. So it would not stun me if everybody stays healthy in Chicago to see Chicago make the playoffs, only because I think the NFC is just 5 deep, and that's about it.
Who's the last quarterback that's come into the season, a rookie quarterback with the pressure that Caleb Williams? I mean, we're talking about the playoffs for this guy. You've already mentioned twice he's a rookie. I'm trying to think back of what rookie quarterbacks had this type of pressure, if there's been one.
Maybe Trevor Lawrence, just because of not necessarily the playoffs, but because everybody thought Trevor Lawrence was he was described as a can't miss prospect, the best prospect since Peyton Manning. He came in with a lot of pressure to perform. He obviously had a not so good head coach, and that's the nicest way I'll put it. I would say Trevor Lawrence, probably a lot of pressure there because of what people thought he would be. But you probably have to go back to maybe Peyton Manning last time a quarterback came in that you thought was actually going to take a team to the promised land quickly.
Who's the best team in the league on paper right now? Because we know the Chiefs have won back-to-back Super Bowls, but in terms of roster, if you had to take a roster into the season right now, which one would you most want to take?
Eagles. Top to bottom, the Eagles have the best roster. Doesn't mean they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
But they have the best roster top to bottom in terms of position by position by position. There's not many holes on that roster where you're going to be talking about a potential coach that could be on the hot seat, a coach that was potentially replaced in the offseason after having, 2 years ago being in the Super Bowl and last year starting 10-1. That's how good that roster is. The fact that a 10-1 team made the playoffs at 11-6 and then bowed out was talking about the coach being gone because of how good the roster is. They had another good draft. They had another good offseason. Howie does his job and he does it well. And I think, we made playoff predictions as soon as the draft ended. Dallas Robinson wrote the article on Pro Football Network, and he wrote it, but I gave him my thoughts as if I was writing it. And I had the Eagles winning the Super Bowl over the Chiefs. That was my Super Bowl prediction for April. That could change by next, September. But if you were to just ask me who has the best roster, Eagles.
David Bearman, Pro Football Network, ProFootballNetwork.com. Follow him on X, David Bearman PFN, David Bearman PFN. Go back to the Lucky Charms. All right.
The Lucky Charms are ready to go, and because I had this show, I even poured the milk, which means my daughter's going to yell at me that they're soggy because she wasn't downstairs in time. But I'm looking forward to it, and it's pouring out. So it'll be a fun trip to the bus stop.
Stay dry as best you can, David. Thanks.
All right, have a good one.
David Bearman, Pro Football Network, ProFootballNetwork.com. Can't pour the milk early. All right, we appreciate it. Obviously, he did it. He was anticipating the kid coming down the stairs earlier, and he was nice enough to fit us into his breakfast routine, but can't pour the milk early.
Multitasking, though. I'll cut him some slack.
I know. No, we're grateful, but boy, that's a big error. It is.
Daughter's going to yell at him. I mean, there's no doubt.
That's an unforced error right there.
Yeah, it affects the cereal eating experience when it's soggy.
Right, and then she's going to be soggy going to the bus stop in the rain. It's going to be a soggy morning in the Bearman household.
By the way, is it an unforced error, or is his appearance on our show is that a forced error? Did we force that turnover?
We did.
So that's on us?
That's on us. Her cereal's on us. And if I were David, I would say, sorry, honey, it was Miller and Moulton's fault.
Right. Dad, what are you talking about? Okay. It's your fault. You know it. Can't believe you poured the milk early, Dad.
How
Sorry,
about
David.
getting downstairs on time? Wonder how many times he called his daughter for. If it's my house, it would have been the fourth call to my daughter for breakfast, and she's still lollygagging.
You went lollygagging? You just went Bull Durham?
What's that make us?
Lollygaggers.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Are you looking to make this Mother's Day unforgettable? Jason and Todd with the Diamond District are excited to help. This year, she'll get the ice and you'll get the cooler. A premium Yeti cooler valued at $300. With their stunning selection of fine diamond jewelry and exotic gemstone jewelry, you'll be sure to find the perfect gift that will help make this Mother's Day special. And with your purchase of $1,800 or more, you'll receive a free premium Yeti cooler valued at $300. Whether you're already part of the Diamond District family or will be meeting them for the first time, you'll fall in love quickly with their selection, quality, value, and experienced non-commissioned team. Jason and Todd are in the store nearly every day and are excited to hand you a premium Yeti cooler when she gets the ice. Visit Jason and Todd with the Diamond District this Mother's Day week from the 8th through the 12th to receive your Yeti cooler with a purchase of $1,800 or more. Jason and Todd look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to the Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Hi, Seth.
Good morning.
How are you?
What bomb can I drop today?
Why? Did you drop a bomb?
Last week, remember?
Do you know how long ago last week is to us?
Last week felt like 3 days ago.
I mean, we do, let's see, how many segments have we done since last week? Honestly, it's just
12 a show.
That's all I remember.
What? I'm very curious. What bomb did you drop last week?
The Bally's.
Oh yeah, that's right. It had just happened.
That's right. We got David's live reactions.
Oh, you killed me.
So
that is right. That crushed him for a day.
But then you forgot about it, so clearly not so much.
Oh, the hockey playoffs take over.
You know what happened though, Seth? Although I've missed not being able. Yeah, Mark hit it on the head because I'm a Rangers and Knicks fan. The fact that I haven't been able to watch Rays and Marlins
hasn't really impacted.
Hasn't really hit me, But it will in June when neither one of them are playing.
Well, you'll call me then. Hockey playoffs have been pretty spectacular.
So I got to buy a VPN, right? That's what I have to do. That's the device that I can say
It's not a device; it's a software.
So I got to get VPN software.
Yeah, I can help you.
You're gonna have to.
There's this thing called Nord. I had it when I used it, but then what you do is when you connect to it, you tell your computer that you are somewhere else, and you select the location. And so what I used to do to watch Formula E races live, because CBS was airing them on tape delay. And so to watch them live, what I did was in the morning, I would tell my computer I'm in like Manchester, England, and I would watch it on their YouTube channel.
All right, I'm going to sound really stupid right now, Seth. If I do that on because I'm watching the games on my TV, obviously, that's hooked up to the internet. Once I go through my computer, that's going to tell the modem that I'm in another place.
Well, it depends on what the device that you're using to watch it on is.
Gotcha.
We'll talk about it.
Gotcha. Because I was thinking about getting the baseball package, but I'm blocked out of both the Rays and Marlins. So what's the point?
Well, that's been the Vegas argument. That's the Montana argument. Montana makes me laugh. You're over a day's drive from Seattle. Like you couldn't get there in one day, and you're blacked out. In Montana, you can't watch the Mariners. In Vegas, you can't watch 8 teams. It's the stupidest, most antiquated system. I've been covering that for 25 years. Daryl and I used to do shows about it.
Hey, Seth, quickly, Adam in our chat room wants to know if you're giddy about Hugh Jackman being back as Wolverine.
Of course.
Yeah.
That movie looks hysterical. Yeah, but right now, X-Men 97 is taking center stage. I'm planning like 4 podcasts on it. That movie's like not until July. June or July.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Joined at this day and time always by Seth Everett. He of Sports with Friends and Hall of Justice, 2 terrific podcasts. Get great reviews, get a lot of listeners. They even have sponsors. And you can't say that about most every podcast. So follow Seth on X at Seth_Everett, Seth_Everett. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's our pleasure as always, Seth, and we're doing well this morning.
That's so wonderful.
We can't even have a normal intro to the segment, okay?
What? I didn't say anything.
You're tongue-in-cheek. You're being sarcastic / snarky.
I don't know what you're
We're
talking
friends, for goodness sake.
We are.
That's why you can do that.
That's right.
I guess.
That's
All right.
right.
Are you? Is that Tony the Tiger on your shirt? What is
No.
that you're wearing?
Damn
Oh,
Marvel t-shirts.
Oh, that's right. Him and his damn
Come on.
cartoons.
What are we new?
So
I did a podcast this week with the commissioner of the American Association of Professional Baseball. It is what used to be known as an independent league in the Midwest, and now they're called MLB partner leagues. And he has promised me a swag bag. There are 12 teams, and each one has a better logo than the next. He said, "Do you like logo T-shirts?" I said, "Do you know me?" And supposedly this guy's sending me a big time swag bag. I can't wait.
The only thing better than logo t-shirts, Seth, are free.
That's right. That's even better. That's even better.
There's a little behind the curtain media wall for Miller, Moulton, and Seth Everett. Not so much Moulton, but I'm all for the swag bag, Seth. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, no, he brought it up because what I was getting at, like we asked all kinds of interesting questions that you would want to know if you were talking to the commissioner of a minor league. When he says you're at 93% capacity, what is that? Is that 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, 12,000? What's the difference? How many people actually go to see these games?
Well, more than go see the Oakland A's. I mean, that's
maybe.
I mean, well, what was the list yesterday, Mark?
553 North American teams outdraw the Oakland Athletics.
Oakland A's. I saw that. The other one I asked was, how much do players make?
How much do they make?
They make $3,000 a month, but their housing, car, and meals are all covered.
So $3,000 a month. It's like a 5-month league, though, right?
Yep.
Okay, so housing, cars, and they
Meals.
get but not all meals though. It's like they provide like 2 meals for them.
No, I think it's meals. The way he said it on the podcast was meals.
Would you sign up for that though? That's $15,000 in 5 months, and then you got to go get a job.
Yeah, that's true. The other problem is it's you have to play baseball.
Stop it.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. He said 25% of the league, the guys have been in the show and they're trying to resurrect their careers.
Okay.
Other guys have been cut by minor league organizations. You don't sign with an independent team.
Right.
But you do so when and so every guy is on a mission. The whole thing was so intriguing, fascinating. A buddy of mine said, you got to talk to this guy. He's a fascinating dude. Can you talk to him? And their season opens this weekend. So I thought this week's the good week to do it. And boy, I had so much fun.
Seth, I don't want to ruin your podcast and give out all the answers, but I am curious.
Why don't we just play it? No.
Maybe next Wednesday. Of the play now, obviously players that were in the show, players that are trying to, what is the number of players that have gone from his league back to the major leagues?
Oh, there's a handful. It happens. Yeah, it happens. What happens with these guys is they sign with these teams and they develop something. Usually it's some skill set, plate discipline or velocity, or develop, for pitchers, develop another pitch.
Right.
And then if they can do it, the American Association has an app where you can watch the games for free, by the way. And you sign up for this app, you can watch the game. And what happens is scouts watch and they know and they have stuff. So what happens is towards the end of the season, these players sign with organizations. I was
it's similar.
The whole thing was so cool.
And maybe it actually is. Like 30 years ago when I was in Fargo, they had a team in the Northern League. It was an independent league.
Yep.
Darryl Strawberry, when he, flamed out with the Dodgers there before he got picked back up by the Yankees, he resurrected himself in the Northern League. Jack Morris tried to extend his career pitching for the St. Paul Saints after he suffered the arm injury with the Blue Jays, was hoping to get picked up. I mean,
the St. Paul Saints were in this league until the Twins picked him up as their AAA team.
Right. Yeah. And they drew thousands, by the way, to their games, the St. Paul Saints. I mean, they routinely drew better than the Oakland A's are drawing right now to their
just to show you how my hockey brain works. There are 12 teams in this league, 1 Canadian team, 11 American teams, 1 Canadian team.
Is that Winnipeg?
Winnipeg Gold Eyes.
Yeah, the Gold Eyes. Yeah.
They have a double. This is where my brain went. They have a double anthem every game.
That's where your brain went?
That's where my brain went.
That's
Do you find yourself singing the Canadian anthem when the two anthems go on?
That's right. They have what?
Do you find yourself singing the Canadian anthem?
Oh, out loud. Out loud. I love the Canadian anthem. And it makes me think of Carla Tortelli when Eddie LeBec died on Cheers.
I think Monday was the 20th anniversary last episode of Cheers, by the way. Seth
oh,
Everett.
my God. When Eddie LeBec, played by Jay Thomas, Eddie LeBec was a goalie for the Bruins and marries Carla and then dies in a game. And she goes to memorialize him, and she walks to the back of the bar and starts singing "Oh Canada." And you cry, you laugh. It's some of the greatest television ever.
Sportsman Friends Hall of Justice. Seth Everett is our guest. Follow him on X, Seth_Everett, Seth_Everett. I believe the Goldeyes, by the way, played, at least they did 30 years ago. They played where the Winnipeg Blue Bombers played. They're right in like the corner of the football stadium with a makeshift fence and what have you. And they played on the artificial turf. All right. Just saying.
That's very cool. Very cool. Did you guys see Amazon's proposal for the NBA?
I heard about it. I didn't read the particulars. Supposedly they're gonna
So
ABC
the play-in tournament, that in-season tournament thing with the glow-in-the-dark courts and stuff.
Well, but also apparently what they're wanting, like ABC, ESPN is going to continue what they have now, which is they'll get one of the two conference finals and they'll have the NBA finals every year. But apparently Amazon, and we think it's going to be NBC, they're going to alternate conference finals. So the NBA going forward, a year
Conference
from
finals
now,
will be on Prime.
one of the conference finals every year will be on streaming.
Yeah.
It'll be either Peacock or Amazon.
Well, it could be on NBC. They could put it on linear NBC. We'll have to wait for the particulars on that. I can't imagine the NBA conference finals are coming around and NBC saying keep it on Peacock exclusive. I'd be shocked.
But apparently, the guts of NBC's proposal, though, is their regular
it's for
season
Peacock.
games
The regular
are gonna be
season stuff
Peacock.
is all Peacock. Also the play-in tournament is Amazon's, according to this proposal. Those are games that have weight to them, and the regular season, for what ESPN's getting, the regular season, the controversy in the NBA is that there is no weight, that they are hollow games. Players don't even play in them.
Correct.
I think Amazon's deal is brilliant.
If you were the league, Seth, Ernie Johnson said he's staying with TBS or with Turner, and so that really can't. Yeah. Would you do everything in your power to make sure that if TBS and Turner or TNT and Turner are losing the NBA, that show in its entirety goes somewhere? I mean, that show
it's hard. It's hard to do. Ernie Johnson has had chances to leave Turner a long time ago. I mean, he's been there for decades, and he's loyal. I don't know how that works. You know, I've heard of the value of the show. My one complaint about that show is it is so successful that other studio shows go out of their way to try to copy it, and they don't do it as well. So, like, for example, TBS's NHL studio is too much hokey. It's too hokey. The CBS Champions League show is very hokey. All they do is screw around and make fun of each other. And it's a lot of inside jokes that I'm on the outside for. And I'm a hockey guy, and I don't get half their jokes. It's a weird trend. It's almost like when the Kansas City Royals won the World Series and everybody thought they were going to emulate their style to win. Everybody's trying to be the inside the NBA, and I don't really watch the inside the. I see the clips on social media, but they do it well because those guys are hysterical, and everybody else copies them. I don't know how that show stays. I think what happens is they all three of the players, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, become free agents, and you're not going to sign all three of them. And Ernie Johnson, I can't see at this stage of his life, with everything that he's been through, I can't see him saying to Turner, "See you later." I would be shocked.
Yeah, but I got to be honest. If they lose the NBA, what the hell's Ernie going to be doing?
How old is Ernie Johnson?
In mid-60s?
Yeah, he's young. I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing, that they'll be doing so little. He doesn't have anything to do with their hockey coverage. They're out of the golf business, right? They don't do the PGA anymore. ESPN does.
Baseball.
He does very little.
And if
baseball.
ESPN drops baseball, like has been predicted,
yes,
maybe Turner gets a bigger deal for baseball.
Yeah, but the seasons don't conflict. I mean, the money games are. I just think that
Look at what Joe Buck did. Joe Buck now only has one job as opposed to working all summer. Maybe Ernie Johnson does something like that.
Well, yeah, and he's got a huge family. And
we're brokering Ernie Johnson's life. Maybe he could do Sports with Friends.
Well, I just think it'll be different if he doesn't want to work that much at this age of his life and he doesn't want to do the show regularly anymore. That's one thing. But this whole contractually, I'm going to be with Turner. I mean, first off, if I'm Turner, he's a walking billboard for me. I'd want him and those guys doing the show on NBC because you'd have to identify
Amazon.
Ernie. Yeah. Right. You'd have to identify Ernie Johnson as Turner's, Ernie Johnson.
Maybe. Yeah. My thought is that I like the deal. I like the way it's coming. It just looks very, very cool.
All right, 10 seconds. Hall of Justice, go.
James Arnold Smith. He is the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi in Clone Wars, and he's done like tons of voices. And I caught up with him in person at a Comic-Con this past weekend in Philadelphia, and he's on the podcast.
Seth Everett, Sports with Friends Hall of Justice. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. Seth, thanks for your time and your insight. We appreciate it. Safe travels, buddy.
See you guys.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. I got a response from Marty.
Oh, my God. Ernie Johnson, 67. He'll be 68 in August. Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, it should be reset by tomorrow. I'm in Italy, but Ben from GR should be resetting it.
So it's about 2 in the afternoon where he is.
You think Ernie would do something like Greg Gumbel if he's done? Like just kind of host the selection show and do very limited other stuff?
Yeah, I mean, that's 3 weeks in March.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I've got to reset Facebook and Axe. I am so bad with passwords. I have no idea what my Facebook password is, so I've got to do it from my home computer.
Like, and Trent, you weren't alive, but when CBS lost the NFL and Fox came in. Pat Summerall had been associated with the NFL for 25 years as an announcer, never mind he was a player. And Pat wanted to stay with CBS, but he just wanted to do the NFL on Fox because Pat was in the tower on 18 at the Masters, and Pat also did the U.S. Open tennis. Pat loved the U.S. Open tennis. And CBS was like, no, if you're going to do the NFL, then you're out of here. Fox was willing to let him do, whatever he wanted at CBS, just as long as he came over and did the NFL with Madden.
Interesting.
And that's what, to me, if I'm Turner, I would say to Ernie, I go, listen, we'll let you do whatever you want, man. If you had to rank in importance the four people involved in that show, Barkley's 1, right? Is Shaq 2 or Ernie?
Well, quick sidebar. Was that Jay-Z doing the Oasis song? I've seen that clip 100 times. I think so say that again. So Chuck's 1.
Yeah, 4 people involved in that show. Rank them in terms of
Chuck, Shaq, Ernie, Kenny.
I go Chuck, Ernie, Shaq, Kenny, but I feel like it's a little subjective. Anytime Ernie's hosting, I think it's pretty smooth. You know what I mean? Chuck obviously is he gets clicks. He's hilarious. He's great. Entertaining. Shaq mails it in sometimes. I mean, I know he's Shaq, but I feel like there are shows where certain times he just doesn't want to be there.
So apparently, David, my wife's cousin and her husband were at the Mighty Muscles game last night. He sent me a text that they just announced our radio show over the broadcast. Like, listen to Miller and Moulton.
Oh, that must have been John Vidas doing that as a solid.
Yeah. And the Mighty Muscles won the game with a walk-off grand slam.
Boy, on a Tuesday night in front of 317?
No, Tuesdays they do the beer, don't they?
Well, isn't it the same promotion Tuesday and Thursday? They just call it different things?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's $10 to park.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Amanda Christovich, Front Office Sports. She's their business reporter. She has been following all the goings-on with the college athlete, what it is they're trying to do, following all the lawsuits, and the NCAA's reported proposal, and how there's a group that wants to represent the athletes that is willing to go along with a decent amount of what the NCAA wants to do, the key part of which is, we can do this revenue sharing thing, but we don't have to have them be employees. So we're going to talk to Amanda about this coming up in a little more than 15 minutes time. Our poll question, good one. And it was Mark's doing. He's like, hey, which one of these 4 would you most want to see in person? Ohtani, LeBron, Tiger, Mahomes. So there you go.
And you've seen 3 of the 4, so you had to vote for Ohtani just out of the only one you haven't seen, right?
Right.
I've seen Tiger out of the 3 remaining because Ohtani to me is so superior at what he does that's the guy I'd want to go see. He seems to be at the height of his talent. And I have to do the same with Mahomes.
Now, I have to admit, I would probably like to wait a year or so and ideally see Ohtani when he's actually pitching and hitting in the same game. being a little greedy. But yeah, of the four, since I'm lucky enough to have seen the other three, I'll do Otani. That Mark
When did
Miller.
you see LeBron, by the way?
Saw him with the Heat. All right, 20th row, kind of up behind the baseline on an angle. So I saw him when he was with the Heat. So there you go.
All right, I just didn't remember you going to see a Heat game.
Yep.
What you're keeping things from me?
I don't think I did, but okay. Hey, can you two humor me more than you both already do? Okay, I'm taking the joke away from the both of you. So name me the teams that you in the NFL believe are legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Obviously, we all know teams can come out of nowhere and what have you. But, the schedule is going to be announced a week from tonight. Give me the teams that you think are legitimate Super Bowl contenders, okay? And there's a method to my madness. Go. Just go one at a time.
All right, well, Kansas City, obviously.
Okay, Carson Wentz is the backup quarterback. All right, continue.
Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens. Josh Johnson is the backup quarterback.
Look, it's close, and I know I'm going to get crushed for this, but you could almost vote the entire AFC North.
I don't disagree.
Okay, with that in mind then, Jake Browning, who we saw last year, played pretty good football for the Bengals. Jameis Winston is the backup in Cleveland. Justin Fields is the backup in Pittsburgh. So clearly the Ravens have the worst backup quarterback of the four, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, continue.
Do we have the Bills still there?
Well, that's
the Bills. Yeah.
Mitchell Trubisky.
Are we going Dolphins?
Super Bowl contenders?
I don't think they are.
I don't either. I just wanted to.
But for those that do, Mike White.
And would you put Houston on the list? And after that, I'd be done in the AFC for what it's worth.
Davis Mills.
Has plenty of starting experience.
Yeah, not good. But yes.
Yeah, okay. So that's it in the AFC, right?
Yeah. NFC.
Niners.
Joshua Dobbs.
Come on, say it, Trent. I'm not even going to take this from you. Go ahead and say it.
The Detroit Lions.
There it is.
Hendon Hooker. Never taken a snap in the league.
Philadelphia.
Kenny Pickett. And by the way, their third/fourth string quarterback's Will Grier.
Is there another NFC team that you think's a legitimate Super Bowl contender? Green Bay? I'm
fine. Sean Clifford.
The big red dog.
Right. Mm-hmm. If you think Dallas, insert Joe Keir. Cooper Rush.
You may think the Rams, David.
I do. Stetson Bennett.
I agree on the Rams. We'll talk about this later, but I feel like they could almost win that division.
Slow down.
They could. Come on. But that's not the conversation we're having. But yes, I would put the Rams as a contender for sure.
I'm just trying to make the point.
Yeah.
Super Bowl contenders. And don't tell me that, hey, if your quarterback gets hurt, you can't win the Super Bowl. The Niners damn near went to a Super Bowl with their fourth string quarterback. We all know the Eagles won the Super Bowl with their backup quarterback. Okay, the point I'm making here is these depth charts seem pretty thin, don't they?
They do, and more importantly, can they win you a Super Bowl? Probably not with your backup, but they can give you things like home field advantage, winning a division. The odds are your quarterback's going to miss a couple of games. Can these guys, as you and I always talk about, David, what do we want from our backup quarterback? Can you go 2-1 on a good team?
Right.
For the 3 games that your quarterback's going to miss, can this guy win you 2?
Jake Browning. If the Bengals had gotten off to a good start last year, Browning, I think, went 5-4 as a starter for a major injury, obviously, to the starter. Jake would have gotten the Bengals into the postseason. They screwed up the beginning of the season more so than they screwed it up when Jake Browning was the quarterback. But, this is and Trent, I'm being very serious. I think the Lions are a legitimate Super Bowl contender. You can't go into the season with Hendon Hooker. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear it. He's never taken a snap in the league. All right. They may think he can play. They have no idea. You can't go into the season. You were in the conference championship game a year ago. Your backup quarterback has never taken a snap in the league. Come on.
David, I don't disagree. 4th round pick, never taken a snap in the league, like you said.
And he was hurt he
Bad
broke the
knees.
ACL, so he didn't get preseason reps. He didn't get practice reps, really.
I'll be honest, if I'm the Niners and they went out and acquired Joshua Dobbs with all the injuries that you've had at that position in the last 5 years, and you're all in, really? Josh Dobbs?
Could I argue, though, that I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to ask you guys. Could you argue the Niners are almost an exception to the rule? Because we've seen them do it with Jimmy Garoppolo. We've seen them do it with Brock Purdy. They have such a system that it almost, I don't want to say quarterback's a moot point, but if there were an exception to the rule, it'd be the Niners. You could almost plug and play. I don't want to say anyone.
No,
but
because if so, Trey Lance would still be there.
Well,
So, I understand that good defense, they can run the ball, the whole deal. That offense is quarterback friendly, but you have to be a very accurate quarterback to be in that offense. And, listen, that was a surprise to us, Mark, that they signed Sam Darnold to be their backup last year. We're like, he's a lot of things. Accurate's not one of them. But I just wanted to make the point, the teams that we consider to be the upper echelon, the serious Super Bowl contenders, how many backup quarterback situations do you like? Is Carson Wentz with the Chiefs, of all the teams that we mentioned, the best backup situation? Or do you think it's one of the teams in the AFC North? Jameis? Jake Browning?
Yeah, I'd go Jameis. But your point is well taken.
I might go Justin Fields.
Okay. But
because of the elements he brings to the table. He's a guy that I think can win you 2 games if your quarterback goes down.
And they don't have to change their offense a whole lot, right?
The backup quarterbacks in the NFC West right now, Stetson Bennett, Desmond Ridder, Joshua Dobbs, and Sam Howell. Do the Seahawks with Sam Howell have the best backup? Amanda Christovich next.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best, and the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few joy stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Who finishes last in the North AFC?
That's a great question.
I mean, I feel like it could be a 10-win Browns team. You know what I mean? When was the last time a division was this stacked?
Well, all 4 teams finishing above 500.
Yeah, I think so.
Fam, I had a list in front of me.
That's funny.
But it is amazing to me, some of the teams, are they really going to enter training camp with that as their backup quarterback? Because the other thing, like Mark talked about, what if your backup quarterback can just get you 2-1 or what have you, so that you win the division? You're not a wild card. Or you win the division and you've got home field for the first 2 rounds. So you're the 2 seed. You don't fall to the 3 or the 4. I mean,
Okay, so wasn't there a time where the divisions weren't all equal? Like there were 5 teams and 4 teams and or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did that work? There was still a division winner that made the playoffs, and then
well, I mean, hell, all through the 60s and 70s, only 4 teams made it from each conference. You had the 3 division winners and 1 wild card.
okay.
Then for most of the 80s, in fact, all of the 80s, it was 3 division winners and 2 wild cards. And then I believe 1990, 89, 90, but I think it was 90 was the first year, Trent, that we had 3 wild cards. We went 6 teams in each conference.
So they just didn't care about that advantage? Like that's the way it was?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, it was difficult though. Like when the league was 26 or 28 teams, I mean, how do you do it?
Right.
You know,
no, I get it. I just
So-
find it interesting. Like for a while there, they just
Well, they added what, Carolina and Jacksonville at the same time in 95?
yeah, I think so. 95.
So we were
That
they
made it
added-
32.
No, because
No,
the Texans.
So that made it 30?
Actually, I thought for a minute and a half, I thought we were at 31, but
No one joined with the Texans, right?
no, I don't believe so.
When did the Titans go to Tennessee?
Mid 90s, they went. But like the Bucks and the Seahawks came in at the same time. The Panthers and the Jags came in at the same time. But then what happened was when Cleveland lost their team and it went to Baltimore in 99, Cleveland came in as the 31st franchise. And then I think we were at 31 for, a half dozen years. And then the Texans came in to make it 32.
All right, let me type her name up here because we've got her coming on right now.
Okay, we got Amanda. Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the top of the hour. Last segment of the third hour of Miller and Moulton. The Diamond District bonus hour for the 239 and the 904 is coming up at the top of the hour. We welcome back Amanda Christovich to the show, sports business reporter with a focus on the college sports scene for Front Office Sports. Front Office Sports, you can follow Amanda on X at the letter A Christovich and then throw an H on the end. So A Christovich H. Amanda, it's David and Mark once again. Hope you're well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's our pleasure. We enjoyed you a couple of appearances earlier when you followed the Ivy League basketball teams and, unionizing and what have you. Okay, help us out with the story that is emerging this week about a players' association for the college athlete that kind of wants to do things the way the NCAA wants to do it, which is we can distribute the money, yet they don't have to be employees. Help us out here.
Yeah, so there are several groups of sort of like, I don't want to call them lone wolves, right? But kind of separate athlete advocates, let's put it that way. And they've created organizations, one of which is the College Football Players Association, which isn't a formal union, obviously, because athletes aren't allowed to unionize. But it's one of those groups that's trying to advocate on the players' behalf, trying to get groups of players, especially obviously in this case in FBS football, to sort of sign on and to give them sort of a collective voice. This group, run by Jason Stahl, has been kind of like in the fray for a few years. They've, been speaking to Congress, et cetera. And on Monday, they basically came out with this position that said, we're not the first to come up with this idea, but we're sort of saying maybe a solution to all the issues in college sports is having Congress give a special status to college athletes, which gives them the right to unionize and collectively bargain under U.S. labor law, but does not designate them employees. So they remain amateurs. Obviously, revenue sharing theoretically would be part of that, but that's something that would be collectively bargained, et cetera, et cetera. And they basically, the reason that they're suggesting this is they basically were saying the question of employee status has become this like albatross around the neck of athlete advocacy. And there are cases that are progressing about employee status, but they could take years. And in the meantime, athletes need a collective voice right now. They need to be able to collectively bargain with the NCAA right now. And so perhaps this is a quicker way of getting them a lot of the rights that these employee status cases would, with that in a way that would be more amenable to the NCAA and administrators.
All right, the lot to digest in that, but part of that is you said allowing, Congress allowing them to have a special exemption. Is there anything there, Amanda, that leads you to believe that Congress would give the college athlete a special exemption?
Well, I spoke with Jason, and he basically said what's been striking to him is that the question, as we all know, criticizing the NCAA is a bipartisan exercise. It's one of the few bipartisan exercises left in this Congress, right? And just in politics. However, the question of employee status has become very partisan because both Democrats and Republicans are using it as part of this larger debate about the pro-labor Joe Biden administration, right? So that's going to fall on party lines. But Jason said, okay, well, when I've been sort of talking to lawmakers on both sides of the aisle about this idea, he said at the very least, they're all on both sides of the aisle interested in learning more. I really do not believe anything is going to happen in Congress before the general election, but I am, based on reporting about this story and other stories, more inclined to believe that, especially the way the general election plays out, there could be some sort of college athlete legislation maybe next year. And it sounds like this is a more bipartisan idea than the question of either what the NCAA wants, which is 100% like saying that forever and always athletes are not going to be classified as employees, or, you know, the opposite. So sounds like there's a little hope, but again, I don't think anything's going to happen before next year.
Amanda, what's more likely, the NCAA / the schools uniting and becoming one in this issue, which would mean, you know, the very well-to-do schools, the Ohio States, the Michigans, the Notre Dames, who can raise serious money, would maybe in a way give up some of their competitive advantage if they agree to, we're all going to be as one, or getting the athletes to all come together as one, so the schools and the NCAA know the one entity that they're negotiating with. I mean, one of the things, Amanda, that we have been advocating, if we were giving advice to the NCAA and the schools, is make them employees tomorrow. They'll be so disorganized, you'll take total advantage of them at the bargaining table for probably the rest of the decade until they get their act together.
Right. I totally agree with that. And it's something that is a natural part of the evolution of unionization in this country, right? Usually your first collective bargaining agreement is not a very good one for the employee, right? It's great for the employer. It takes a while to build up a sort of strong union that's good at negotiating. I mean, for sure, I think that the NCAA conferences and schools coming together is more likely because, first of all, they already have. I mean, I'll give you a special preview. I'm working on a story about the coordinated lobbying effort in Congress that the NCAA and the Power Four plus, you know, the Pac-12, when it was a power conference, had put together. They have already demonstrated they're capable of doing that. You know, and all part of the reason there are so many different labor organizing groups and different advocacy groups is because it's so difficult to organize college athletes because they're cycling through quickly, especially in football or in basketball, right? They're only there for a few years. Even with sort of the transfer portal and COVID year, like that still doesn't keep them around long enough to really build a labor organizing base. They're so busy. And then there's this like threat of losing every single thing they've ever worked for if they take a position that goes against their coach, their school, and their conference in the NCAA, and that's employee status. And that's part of the reason Jason told me that the athletes, whether or not they want to be employees, they just don't have the appetite to fight for that right now, save a select few, like the Dartmouth men's basketball players. All that to say, I think you're completely right. And I mean, look, there could be a labor organizing entity if athletes become employees, but how many of them would even join it, right? I mean, there's just so many questions that, ironically enough, the NCAA would probably be able to exploit them even more in a very weird way.
Amanda Christovich, who is a sports business reporter for Front Office Sports. Front Office Sports. Follow Amanda on X, A. Christovich, and then throw another H on the end. A. Christovich, H.
You know, kind of based on what you said there, Amanda, it is really going to be the Dartmouth basketball team or someone like that, because you just talked about all the different entities. It's going to have to be someone that's going to walk this walk all the way through. Given the time that this is going to take, isn't it really going to take one group, one team, someone to take this to the end, the way it really started with the O'Bannon case and things like that, because of the time frame this is going to be?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that the athletes themselves organizing is really difficult. I think that because of the amount of time, like you said, that these sorts of cases take, it takes outside advocates. Dartmouth is a really unique case because when I was at Dartmouth, I asked the players, I was like, most of that Dartmouth organizing class, like the sort of leaders, were juniors. So I was like, okay, well, if this case takes 3 to 5 years, if Dartmouth, gets it into the federal court system on appeal and gets it all the way up to the Supreme Court, that could take 3 to 5 years. Do you feel like your underclassmen are prepared to carry on that fight? And do you think they're prepared to, brief and sort of help the recruits that are going to be coming in after them take on that fight? And of course they said yes, right? Who knows if that'll change? I think the other thing too is like the Dartmouth players, this is something that Jason pointed out that I don't think anyone's really talking about. They have nothing to lose. They can do this for a few years because they don't get scholarships, right? They're not making 6 figures from an NIL collective. They don't get so many of the benefits that some of the power conference players get, and they work just as hard. So they're willing, right? Like they have nothing to lose. They're willing to go at this for a few years. Whereas, maybe the Alabama football team is going, well, maybe in the long run, this might be good for us. But in the short term, I've got a nice life, and why would I jeopardize that? What they don't understand is that the nice life they have now could very easily be taken away, and the NCAA is trying to do that in Congress, but they don't know that, and it's debatable whether they even care because they're only in college for a few years.
Amanda, none of us are legal scholars, but you are paying much closer attention to this. So based on your reporting over the last couple of years, it seems to us that the athletes are consistently winning now in court. And this Supreme Court has all but said publicly that these kids are employees as far as we're concerned. So if you're the NCAA, with what the court has said publicly, don't you have to get Congress to intervene, or else these athletes are going to be employees here in the next couple of years? I mean, the Supreme Court has all but said it.
Yes, yes, and yes. 100 times yes. Congress is their only hope in many ways. But also, conversely, Congress is the biggest threat to not just stopping the athletes' economic rights movement in its tracks, but actually rolling it back. Because if the NCAA gets some of the things they've been asking for, technically they could get the power to stop NIL from happening, for example, which one would hope they wouldn't do, but do we really want to give them the power to see, do we really want to play chicken with the NCAA over paying athletes? I'm not sure we do. So absolutely, that's why they hired Charlie Baker. That's why they've been working with the top lobbying firm in the country. That's why, you see top commissioners flying to Washington all the time. They need Congress. Congress is their last hope. But if they can convince Congress to do their bidding, right, and it doesn't have to be in the next 6 months, they could do it next summer, and it would still be just as impactful because all of these cases are still going to be going through the appeals process.
Amanda Christovich, Front Office Sports. Front Office Sports. Follow her on X, A Christovich H, A Christovich H. Amanda, we'll leave you with this. The last time you were on, you made a reference to a book that was written 40 years ago. And in your answer, you were describing it and you stopped and you said, guys, it was all the way back in the 80s. Amanda, you got to remember who you're talking to here. I mean, Mark was a teenager. I was in my 20s. I mean, you gutted us like a fish. I mean, the blood left our face. I mean, we were like in a fetal position for the rest of the show, Amanda.
Well, I'm sorry.
Don't be. Don't be.
You guys are wiser than I am.
Oh, that's it. We're wiser.
But if it makes you feel any better, I'm a child of the 90s. And, I'm now sitting across some fabulous new colleagues who were born after the year 2000. So, I'm getting a taste of my own medicine if it makes you feel any better.
So, but Amanda, that's how much we like you. We invited you back. It took a while. We had to heal. Okay. But we invited you back, and thanks for saying yes.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Amanda Christovich, Front Office Sports, frontofficesports.com.
Now talk to our producer who's 14 years old.
Exactly. Who's one of the people you're sitting across from. Right. We had to let her know. We had to let her in. Okay, make her part of the show. Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Adam, I don't understand where you're coming from because star players get paid more in hockey, basketball, baseball, and football, and they all have unions. I mean, unions set a minimum wage, and maybe unions agree to a salary cap, and everybody's got to make it work. But I mean, yeah, the star quarterback's going to make more going forward than the offensive lineman. Adam, there's going to have to be a players association, whether it's officially a union or not, whether they're officially employees or not. I mean, unless the colleges think that the boosters are going to keep paying all the money.
I didn't realize it was there. Somebody drove through Pastrami Dan's.
Really?
On May 3rd. They opened back up yesterday.
And Trent, you need to check your phone when you're done with all the editing.
I got your text. I will fill you in shortly.
Well, you probably don't want to do it in the Twitch chat room. So
right, that's what I'm saying. I'll
text you.
I will.
Okay.
I appreciate that
because there's been no conversation at all.
I'm in the dark here, Twitch chat room.
Appleton. I text him. I text him and said, by the way,
Mark asked me yesterday after the
what's
show.
going on with Appleton? So
I've had fun because my kid's got a new woman in his life. And so yesterday he calls me and he was a little hooked on phonics. He called me after the Duke ECU baseball game. Very upset ECU lost because that probably loses their chance of hosting the Super because they're right there on the cusp of 7-8,
8-9, right?
Yeah. And so I go, how's the girlfriend? He starts talking and he stops 15, 20 seconds after and he goes, and she's not my girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. And I got him a second time and then he just stops and he looks at me and I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Plus, what's Shake, 24?
He'll be 25 here coming up in 12 days.
Yeah. So, I mean, come on, dude. What do you think she is?
Yeah, so that makes Jake what? 5 months? I think he's 6 months older than me then.
Yeah, he was born in
Did he graduate high school in 18?
No.
17?
17.
Okay. See, I had the November birthday, so I was like right.
Yeah.
Kind of could go either way.
I don't know what I'm going to do without being able to say bye to Tom every day. He was one of my favorite guys here.
I liked him a lot too.
I liked Tom. Tom was very enthusiastic.
He looked out for us. He did. He actually came over every now and then and would just, how's everything going? It's good. Helped us get on the air one day when
yeah.
we got locked out of
that is true, actually. If nothing else, it was an extra phone number that we could call.
Right.
I was thinking about that. We only got 30 seconds left here, but I was like, if Verizon goes down or something, what would we do? Because it's got to call me. You know what I mean?
Right.
There has to be a fail safe, and there's not. So we got to figure it out.
It's a great point.
Like, we couldn't get on with.
Well, that's like Verizon, nixing their deal with Bally's. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
Oh boy.
It wasn't Verizon. I know. It was Xfinity Comcast.
Here we go.
Just being a...
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Diamond District bonus hour on this hump day. Thanks so much for being with us. Hope your week's gone well so far. We're getting over it together. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X, the Diamond District bonus hour, and the 239 and the 904. All right. Since you're the one that, we monitor the Twitch chat room, the text line. I know we got some issues with the text line today, but, once again, you and I, we have followed the money in sports religiously almost from the first shows we've done together 18 years ago. When we go down this road and we go down it in a little bit of detail, I would actually say a more intelligent conversation about this than normally takes place nationally on TV and radio. We're actually trying to discuss this. We're trying to offer up solutions. We're trying to offer up where we truly think it's going to go. Does the audience become glazed over and they drive off the road and they're running into ditches? Or do you think that the audience on this topic is becoming more engaged because it's more real than it's ever been before?
I hope that they become engaged, but the college fan is so angry with everything that's going on. And you have to remember that, and I know that there are younger people that listen to our show, but the markets we're on tend to be a little bit older.
Yeah.
They hate what's going on in college athletics more than anybody. Like, I don't know how much you care, Trent, that they're getting paid, the transfer portal, NIL. I don't know how much it bothers you the way it bothers people that are my age and older. I mean, the transfer portal has the college football and college basketball fan incensed with the sport. I think they could deal with the pay part of it. I don't know if anybody likes the employee part of it. And I think that's the effort that we keep saying. They're really trying to thread a needle with this, and they're going to need Congress's help. And for part of me, I think they may get it, David. But I'm not sure where the audience is on this. We're trying to inform, and I hope that they stay with us.
I'm a bit of an older soul with the college side of things because I don't love the portal. I don't love NIL. I understand that's how it is and that's how it's going to be. But, David, I just wanted to throw this in there. Your guys' take on, or your spin on the business side of things, since I've joined the show 6 months ago, I've gotten a lot of compliments about how you guys attack things for what it's worth. So I don't really know. I think what you were getting to is you want to know if Mark has gotten any texts about that or anything.
Well, no, just curious. I mean, we get a lot of feedback on the show. We get it personally. We get it together 4 hours a day as a group. Okay. And Mark's the one sitting in front of the text line. And so when we do this, and there are more comments on the text line than there are usually in the Twitch chat room. And I'm just, whenever we do this, I'm always, and this goes back to Trent. And, I did local television for 20 years. Mark did games on television. Okay. When you do TV, you think everyone's watching. When you do radio, you think your audience is between 9 and 13 people. Okay. And so you wonder if you're glazing those 9 to 13 people over. And that's what I'm wondering, because we take this seriously. We treat it seriously. It's the present, never mind the future. I mean, come on. The Supreme Court, and that this is the big miscalculation that the NCAA made. Mark, the NCAA thought conservative court, they're going to be on our side. And this court is like, we're all on the side of the athlete. Are you kidding me?
Amanda's comment that there's no bipartisanship out there unless it comes to the NCAA is the most accurate thing she's ever said. And she's a very smart young lady.
Well, here's the thing, too. I mean, it is a huge deal. And whether or not people as fans want to talk about it, listen about it, you know what I mean? It is a huge deal. This is changing the whole landscape of the sport.
Well, and it's changing before our eyes. But ultimately, what the crux of the matter is right now the fans are financially propping up major college athletics. How much longer are the fans going to keep doing this? That's why, to me, these two sides need to get together in the next 3 years and figure out a way to do it where the TV networks are paying for college athletics, not all of the boosters who were paying the pay for play. It's not ESPN and Fox. All that money's going to the colleges. That money's going to Kirby Smart. Okay, we're paying the Kirby's players. I mean, Mark, they think Ohio State spent $10 million this year.
And David, the Georgia fan and the Ohio State fan at the moment are fine paying that money because they're getting the results on the field. The real question you have to ask is, how much longer is the Gator booster going to continue to, and I don't like your word prop up. Pay for. They're not propping it up. They're the damn support system. They're not propping this up at all. They are the system. We are the system. We're the ones paying the athletes.
And you make a great point, because every fan base, how much money does it take? If you're going to go 11-1, 12-1, whatever, you're going to seriously, right? You'll keep shelling out the money every year. But you're right. If you're going 8-4, 7-5, are you going to keep shelling out the money so that one day you'll get back to being 11-1, 12-0, etc.?
Well, and the standards change too, right? Depending on what program it is. Some programs are just happy to make a New Year's Six Bowl. Some programs are just happy to win their conference. But for Ohio State and Bama and Georgia, like you just said, it's different. So how long is that fan base going to put their money where their mouth is and essentially pay for championships?
And then have to, and then when they want to fire the coach, what do? They go hit the big boosters up to get more money to pay that debt off.
I mean, think about all that the fans are paying for right now. I mean, they're really paying for everything. I just think at some point the fans go, yeah, we can't keep paying for this. I mean, you guys are getting how much a year from these TV deals? I mean, figure it out, boys. I get it. You got 20 other sports. I get it. I'm not saying it's easy, but I mean, I only got so much money. And remember, I got to pay for everything, and then I got to buy the tickets, and you're hitting me with a seat license fee? And by the way, the internet in these college stadiums suck.
The fan experience has to come into account.
They don't care. I will say at the college level, the fan experience is watching the band. You're inside. They don't give you, there's a sharp contrast to the fan experience on Saturday and Sunday for what they provide the end user.
Yep.
And we don't care on Saturdays.
We don't.
Because it's the whole day. And Trent, I mean, you're the perfect example of it. You are a loyal alumnus to Michigan State. You're a season ticket holder of the Detroit Lions. Yep. The Saturday experience versus the Sunday experience are completely different. Saturday, you're getting up early. You get to that parking lot as soon as you can. You want to be there at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning for a noon kick or a 1 o'clock kick. Hell, for a 3 o'clock kick, you're there that early.
Saturday is an event. It's a full day thing. Sunday is war.
And that's just getting in and out of the stadium.
Right. That's just a division game. But listen, I'm just curious whether or not, I'm hopeful that, since when we were first talking about it, people were basically saying to us, guys, this isn't going to happen. And we're like, no, you got to trust us on this. I know we're wrong a lot. Okay. Don't listen to who we pick is going to win tonight, but you got to listen to us on this. Okay. This is the future of college athletics. And most of our audience is like, come on. I'm telling you. So now that they know it's reality, I think they're paying more attention to it. But Mark, you're right. They're not happy about it at all. At all. And we're just trying to realistically discuss what are potential solutions. There's a lot of issues and a lot of problems. And this is messy. This is. And whatever they come up with 3 to 5 years from now, it's not going to solve everything. It's going to be messy, and they're going to have to keep tweaking it. But I'm just curious if people are starting to get into it because it's now very real, or if they're so turned off by this that when we go down this road, before they were glazed donuts, now they're angry when we go down this road.
And if they're angry now, are they going to be angry in September on Saturday, if you know what I mean? Because...
Right. How angry are you?
Well, as we pointed out early in the show, viewership of everything not named the NBA is on a radical climb, including college football.
Uh-huh.
College football ratings did not suffer one iota from NIL or the transfer portal.
Right. Like, you can be fed up. You can just and moan.
But I'm watching
long.
my Gators on Saturday. I'm watching my Knowles on Saturday. I'm watching my Canes on Saturday. And damn it, now that you're paying these guys, I expect more wins.
It is fascinating.
By the way, there are other major changes. Do you know the NCAA actually said out loud, and we've talked about this before, that in college baseball, 11.7 scholarships? There's like 30 guys on the team, but there's like 11.7 or 13.7 scholarships that a school has to divvy out. Like at the Gators, I think everybody gets a 1/3 scholarship. They just tell everybody that. We treat you all evenly. Well, the NCAA is now talking about full scholarships for everyone. Well, that's a big difference. That's 20 extra scholarships. So, they're like, people are wondering what's going to happen to the other sports down the road. And we've been saying some of them are going to go away. Apparently, college baseball, the NCAA is now coming around to, no, we want to invest in this. Oh, really? Well, then how long are we away from Mark, the college baseball player? Like, apparently the Gators have a slugger this year who's like,
he had all those home runs and
yeah,
consecutive games and just killing the ball. Right.
Right. And so how far are we away from a college baseball player going, show me the money? So the 1/2 scholarship crap. Bull, I want $500,000. Otherwise, I'll go get drafted, sign with the Tigers. Get a signing bonus. Seriously, you want me?
How bad do you want me?
There you go. Show me the Benjamins, baby.
Money talks.
So, all right. That's it. We'll move on. Can't do too much of this because then I know you'll get angry. I get it. But
did you have a hamburger yesterday on National Burger Day, David? Did you celebrate?
No.
When you were all excited about a burger poll question, and then you didn't even have a hamburger.
No, come to think of it, I didn't. I had meatloaf. Is that close enough? No,
it's close, but it's not a burger.
No, it's not. If I have 2 today, does that make up for it?
Absolutely.
I could do that right after the show. I could do 2 before noon. Then I could do 2 for lunch.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason. And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GI certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commissioned and educational presentation and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from 1/2 carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So my freshman year at State, I was actually getting ready to walk on and swim. Like I was for about a month. Yeah, for about a semester. I was like working towards that. And then I heard that they were going to cut the program. So I just stopped doing that. And they did. They cut the swimming and diving program.
They did.
Yeah.
Yep.
18.
I can't believe that they did that, by the way. I can't believe it. It's such small amount of money in the grand scheme of things.
Right. I got some gear, though. I got the backpack.
Is that from the swim team?
Still use it, yeah. 6 years old, still use it. Love it. Tom's office has a lot of CDs in it.
Yes, it does.
Are they his?
No.
There's a couple in there that I like.
The odds of the CD being in the case is 50-50 at best.
Yeah.
What's your music? How do you download your music? I mean, what do you use?
I use Apple Music, but
Yeah, I was gonna say
I've
that.
kind of at this point I've ran the gauntlet. I've done Spotify. I did Spotify in college.
Yeah, I did. I never really did Spotify. I did Pandora for a long time and paid for it. And then I went Apple Music, and Apple Music's terrific.
It's awesome. When Pandora was new, that was the thing. I mean, that's what we used. Like I was in like middle school at that time, and that's how you listen to everything. During class, you'd put earbuds in on your laptop, listen to Pandora. But the thing with Pandora was you couldn't pick, unless you paid for it, you couldn't like just play stuff. You had
Right.
to put on like a station or a playlist. That's pretty good.
That's fantastic.
And not only that, the building is like apparently the big corporate office is just beyond the right field. Everything there, you can see it.
I also saw at one of the sports books in Vegas, they got all the screens, and then one of them had the disclaimer on it. there's 20 games going on, and then there's the one screen that's got the purple background with the disclaimer. And we got David's live reaction. No!
Tiger getting half the vote. LeBron in last.
That's not shocking. I will say, David, you'd probably appreciate this. I got to sit as close as they would let you sit in Cleveland at Rocket Mortgage Field House. And with like 12 seconds left in the half, LeBron, he's dribbling out the clock and he's going to do something, right? Drives right past Darius Garland and just dunks it. And you would have thought there's 30,000 people there. Because like all the Cavs fans, they love him. So when he makes a big play, they're like, holy.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Good show today. If you missed any or most of it, David Bearman, Pro Football Network. In our second hour, Seth Everett, Amanda Christovich, business reporter for Front Office Sports in our third hour. So go to millerandmoulton.com and download what you missed. I think Trent's already got it all up already.
We're up to date.
Working quickly this morning.
Yeah, good deal. Poll question. Which of these four athletes would you most want to see do their thing in person between Ohtani, LeBron, Tiger and Patrick Mahomes, who's winning?
It's Tiger, and it's not close. He's got 50% of the vote. Mahomes is next with a little over 26% of the vote. Shohei is third, and LeBron is dead last.
The king, the GOAT. I will ask you guys this, though. Do you think there's an element of he's a Tiger, he's a solo athlete, and you get to just watch him do his thing?
I think it's a combination of the markets we're in. I think he's still, if not the biggest, one of the three biggest athletes on the planet.
And plus, if you're watching Tiger, you're at Augusta or you're at the Open Championship. Or
you need to
something
work
like
on that. If you're ever going to bring that accent to the show again, I expect you to work at home on that. That was absolutely terrible. It's the Open Championship.
I mean, you don't have to look in the mirror. You don't have to worry about how you look when you're doing it. You just have to worry about the sound.
Right.
But, I mean, you got to, maybe watch a little BBC also. Maybe, help yourself. Okay. You need to get into the accent. Go a streaming service, Downtown Abbey, something.
Maybe a little CNBC when they run Parliament later. Was it C-SPAN that used to run Parliament? I think.
Yes.
Did you say Downtown Abbey? Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
It's Downton. There's no W in there.
Whatever. For me, it's Downtown Abbey. It's like, maybe that's the Springsteen in me. Downtown Abbey, downtown train, whatever.
From the parking lot.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, it's either the Springsteen or the Gus Johnson in me, one or the other, from downtown. Thank you, Mike Breen. All right. So,
but anyways, Tiger Woods getting some love. Not surprising.
And LeBron getting none. Not surprising as well.
Double whammy.
Does Tiger play 30 more tournaments?
That's a lofty number. I don't think so.
He's 48. In theory, he's got 3 more scheduled for this year. He's going to play, in theory, 4 to 6 a year. How many more years do you think he plays? Like, Jack was okay, and he said he would never be, by the way. But Jack ended up at the very end being okay as a ceremonial golfer. Now, he didn't do it for long. I mean, I'll say it again. At 56, he was in the final group heading into the third round of the Open Championship. At 58, he finished on the first page of the leaderboard at the Masters, T6. Okay, and Jack pretty much hung it up at 60. 60, 61. He did the, I think it's U.S. Open, and then he played the ceremonial and went to St. Andrews at 65. The last year, it was still 65 then. He played the British at St. Andrews in 05. Okay. But he basically was done in the States on the PGA Tour at 60.
One, I don't see Tiger playing the Champions Tour, which Jack played events on it.
Yes, he did.
Tiger's obviously far more beat up physically than Jack ever was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we get 2 more years out of Tiger, that to me would be a lot.
So
because I don't see Tiger playing as a ceremonial golfer. I don't.
So you think we're getting 10 to 12 more tournaments out of Tiger?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I 100% agree with your last point about I don't see him ever being a ceremonial golfer.
Well, but part of it, though, is you and I may think he's a ceremonial golfer. When will he admit to himself?
He is right now.
I think
Tiger still, if you listen to him and you believe what he says, he still is talking about, I got one more in me. Whether it's a major to get to 16, I think he desperately wants to end the tie with Sam Snead and get to 83. And he's tied with him for most career wins on the PGA Tour at 82.
So he's currently chasing the one more in me. But right. I do think Tiger, I think we would all agree, is a very self-aware athlete as far as he respects the game. He probably knows he still believes he's got it in him. And I think when he doesn't believe that anymore, he'll hang him up.
Right. But when do you think that'll be? I mean, Jack did it. Jack was 60 when Jack finally goes, I can't win. I can't realistically compete with these guys anymore.
I think Tiger is going to become aware of that
2 years
very soon because one, I think it's already there. Two, from a health standpoint, if I'm not even saying any more physical problems, but it doesn't look like he can do this for 4 days right now. So maybe the British is because you could get somewhere it's a little more flat. You know, I mean, Watson, how old was Watson when he nearly won it?
59. Norman was the leader heading into Sunday at like 53. I mean, and Tiger knows that. So Tiger's going to think if, once again, he keeps talking about, I still got my hands. And that's chipping and putting. Watson, the irony that, what cost him, I mean, because Tom lost his putting in his mid-30s and still nearly won the British at 59. I'm just kind of curious. If we did an over-under, how many more tournaments do you think Tiger's going to play?
And I'm 10 to 12. Where are you?
About 2 dozen.
So if 30 is the number, you guys are both going under that.
Yeah. But I think he's going to, I do think, I don't know how much longer Tiger plays the U.S. Open. Tiger's got no shot in the U.S. Open. That's a joke. I mean, come on. No shot.
Will he even make the cut at the U.S. Open this year?
I don't think so. I mean, it is at Pinehurst. He finished 2 shots behind Payne Stewart, I think, back in 99. I don't even know if he played it in 2014, the year Michael Campbell won.
Well, think about it, though. I mean, that's kind of where we're at with Tiger, whether he realizes that or not, to David's point. It's like when he made the cut at the Masters, it was a big deal. It's like, oh, we get to watch Tiger. He's not going to win, but you just want him to make the cut so you can continue to watch him through the weekend.
Yeah, but the funny thing is he didn't realize he couldn't win until Saturday. Like if you listened to him after Friday, he thought he was still in it.
Right. And to your point, that's kind of the question we have to ask now is
right. That's not reality.
What does
we all knew he wasn't in it. He still thought he was in it.
And that's the competitor in Tiger Woods. And that's why most of you want to see him live as opposed to the other 3 options.
Because 5 years ago, Mark, you and I talked about it for a long time. If he got himself and he was sniffing one, what would the guys do around him? Would they fall apart? Or would they be like, no, we're a different generation? Yeah. And what'd they do, Mark?
They fell apart.
They fell apart.
They're falling apart around Scottie Scheffler right now. What would they do if Tiger Woods was playing like that?
Right.
I mean, they can't. When Scheffler's going, they're all pressing so hard, they can't play with Scheffler.
I mean, if you remember, he won the Masters in 2019. He had the lead at one point in the final round of the British in 2018. And Francisco Molinari chased him down and went past him. But everybody else around him was kind of staggering. I just don't think he can. I don't think he can get on a leaderboard again.
I don't either. I think what we've seen is what we've seen.
Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. Some final thoughts. A pick or two, a boost, a sprinkle. Man, it's a lot in 15 minutes coming up.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Are you looking to make this Mother's Day unforgettable? Jason and Todd with the Diamond District are excited to help. This year, she'll get the ice and you'll get the cooler. A premium Yeti cooler valued at $300. With their stunning selection of fine diamond jewelry and exotic gemstone jewelry, you'll be sure to find the perfect gift that will help make this Mother's Day special. And with your purchase of $1,800 or more, you'll receive a free premium Yeti cooler valued at $300. Whether you're already part of the Diamond District family or will be meeting them for the first time, you'll fall in love quickly with their selection, quality, value, and experienced non-commissioned team. Jason and Todd are in the store nearly every day and are excited to hand you a premium Yeti cooler when she gets the ice. Visit Jason and Todd with the Diamond District this Mother's Day week from the 8th through the 12th to receive your Yeti cooler with a purchase of $1,800 or more. Jason and Todd look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to the Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Despicable D, glad you like the shorts. Or maybe you don't like the shorts. Maybe that's what you're saying. That made me laugh.
What do you got going on
I
there?
think he's just saying they're short. They're just,
Just parakeet. You look good. You look like you're ready to go play 9 holes.
This is what I would wear golfing, probably. It's the dry fit, Probably not shocking. I am a brutal golfer. I always have fun, though. I've never not had a good time on a golf course.
That doesn't surprise me. Trent, I think you've had a good time at a funeral before.
This
no,
energy
Mark.
drink I got right now?
No,
Sorry,
Mark,
go ahead.
that's not right. He's in the same right now. What he's doing is Tiger-esque, but no,
What do you say? Oh, up last year.
not arguably better than Tiger in his prime. Making a case that he's having a year like Tiger had in his prime.
Mark,
Tiger's prime lasted for how long, David? The first one.
12 years.
Okay.
97 through 08. If you go 97 Masters through 08 U.S. Open, you have to say that was 14.
Come on, Mark.
14. And Mark, Scotty Scheffler's yet to win a tournament that's not in February, March, or April. And let's see him. And in all honesty, we have no idea if he's playing next week. His wife still hasn't given birth, right?
Correct.
And we were led to believe
he's got to have a quick turnaround. He's got to get her knocked up. Man's never played better golf in his life than when she was pregnant. He's got to. They're gonna be Philip Rivers style if he keeps playing this way.
Really?
Philip Rivers has like 7, right?
No, I think it's up to and I'm not joking. I think I thought it was double digits.
Yeah, it's at least 9.
Jeez.
Because didn't he have another one after he retired and he was 41?
10. They have 10. They're one away from a football team.
They got a starting 5 and a bench. Tiger in his prime, though. Oof.
I'm with you, by the way, about all of Tiger's issues of who in the Twitch chat room said they were all self-inflicted. I agree. And people talk about Tiger like he's, been unlucky. No, actually.
Why do we seem to be frozen in time, Johnny?
Yeah, what's that supposed to mean?
We did a lengthy interview about the future of college sports. I don't know if that would be frozen in time.
Frozen in time? I feel like we're anything but frozen.
Because we talked about Tiger for a segment. We happened to do a poll question on which it said, which athlete would you most like to see in person? Tiger's getting 50% of the vote.
Right.
So we did a segment on Tiger Woods. But if that's why we're frozen in time, or because we talk about hockey, I don't know which one it is.
Could be hockey.
Fight us. Fight me.
Did you catch that Oh, the Canes player, they picked it up on the hot mic. I will fight you right now.
Tony D'Angelo to Keandre Miller. And Miller's looking at him like, dude, what's your problem?
And Miller's looking like, I'd kill you.
Yeah. DeAndre. Well, they hated each other when they were teammates. There was a controversy. Miller scored his first goal, and they said that D'Angelo like didn't go get the puck or like got rid of the puck, and it became a thing.
Tigers kid will never make the tour, Irish football. Never.
Side note, my buddies and I were talking about this yesterday, and talking about Tiger just reminds me, like, we grew up with Tiger Woods, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Michael Phelps, LeBron, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I mean, what a time.
Yeah.
Lucky.
And
Sidney
all of it
Crosby.
televised. And I mean,
Right.
whereas
It's not on tape delay and it's
well,
accessible.
it just wasn't accessible. I mean,
Yeah.
we were so into our own teams because that's all we got to see.
Yep. We get to watch it every single night. All right, here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the top of the hour, 16 until we're done talking. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Normally, this is when we promote tomorrow's show. I have no idea who's going to be on tomorrow's show.
No?
I have nothing. Zero, zilch, bupkis. I think John Forsland. I think. All right. But.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you'll send us the text at 7:30 tonight. Mark will come back with a couple poll question ideas, and we'll just give back nothing.
And I'll keep my glasses on this time. So when you type the word person, I don't think you're typing prison. Can't believe you wanted us to visit Otani, Tiger, LeBron, and Mahomes in prison.
Right. I sent a list of questions to David and Trent last night. One of them, which is our poll question, and David responded in prison. All righty then.
Right. Because I'm an idiot. And
I don't know about that. You just didn't have your glasses on.
Right. I need my glasses at all times now.
Uh-huh.
My wife just looks at me now and goes, I'm just going to look at you whenever you're not wearing your glasses and go, prison. Damn.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1877 we start. The first Westminster Dog Show was today in 1877.
And it was on USA Network, and it did big numbers.
45 VE Day victory in Europe. Kind of a biggie.
Kind of a biggie. Yeah.
Not as big, but maybe nearly as big to one David Moulton. Because today in 1959, the Little Caesars pizza chain is founded.
Oh, let's go.
And I didn't know anything about Little Caesars until Monahan bought the Tigers.
Pizza.
But he was a Domino's guy.
I'm sorry. He was a Domino's guy. Who was
Illich, who owns
Illich. And then Illich bought it from Monahan, and I knew nothing about Little Caesars until Illich bought it from the Domino's guy. I'm like, what? And then I started seeing the ads. Pizza, pan. Love the pan part of it. Nobody ever talks about the pan. They always go pizza. And whenever somebody says that around me, I go pan. And I just try to see if I get a look.
Today in 67, Muhammad Ali was indicted for refusing induction into the Army. 1970, the Beatles released their final studio album, Let It Be, and the Knicks win the championship.
Walt Frazier. Everybody talks about Willis Reed's 4 minutes, and he hit his 2 shots. Walt Frazier, 37 points, 19 assists.
David, you were what, 8 years old?
I was 4.
4?
Just 4.5. Yeah.
Do you remember that team?
No, and in fact, I don't remember the 73 Knicks either. Like it's funny. I have faint memories of the 72 Dolphins Super Bowl. I remember I watched it over my grandparents' house. I had just turned 7. I do remember the afternoon game that the Mets and the A's played in the 73 World Series. Willie Mays falling down in center field. I do remember that. And I was just shy of 8. So that's right around when, my sports memories kind of took hold.
That's what I wanted to know. I wasn't trying to take a jab.
Yeah. No. What were you, 34? Yeah.
No, that would have been me that would have said that. Did you cover that game?
Yeah,
Today in 84, the Soviets announced that they will boycott the LA games because we boycotted their games. 1988, after Donut Gate, the amateur refs worked the Bruins Jersey playoff game.
It was awesome.
Think about that.
It was awesome. Could you imagine that story today?
No.
3 minutes, literally within an hour of game time, Lou Lamoriello, who's now running the Islanders, gets a court order on a Sunday, I believe.
Yes.
On a Sunday.
That's right.
He gets a court order and an injunction to allow his coach to coach in Game 4 after the NHL had suspended Jim Schoenfeld for Game 4.
You mean Lou Lamoriello in Jersey was able to get a court order on a Sunday?
Exactly.
You think he might have known? You think because of the last name he might have known a guy to get a little help with that?
I'm thinking so. I'm thinking a little Essex County judge who's a season ticket holder, perhaps. Yeah.
He's got a vowel at the end of his last name.
And in 2014, Jadeveon Clowney was the first pick of the Houston Texans. Harry Truman, Robert Johnson, Ricky Nelson, all born today. Mike D'Antoni, 73. Alex Van Halen is 71. Bill Cowher is 67. And Ronnie Lott is 65. What did I miss, David?
Alex Van Halen, very underrated.
Extremely. So was Michael Anthony, for that matter.
Wouldn't you agree with that, Mark?
I would, but I'm on his. I like Michael Anthony. To me, was the guts of that band.
Michael Anthony, better singer than David Lee Roth was. I mean, not better front
Not
man,
better,
but
not a better singer, but he was a great backup singer.
Okay.
Great backup singer. And when I saw Sammy Hagar, I don't know, 5 years ago when he was here, Michael Anthony sings a lot more than Sammy Hagar does. As he's gotten older, he's been able to keep the voice.
Shout out Mikey.
It was on this day in 1976, and this is all you need to know about the 70s, that the number one song in America was the theme song from the television show Welcome Back, Kotter.
Welcome back. It's a good song.
That was the number
one song in America
by John Sebastian, I believe.
I believe you're right.
Okay.
I mean, how much drugs were we doing as a nation?
It's a nice song.
And it was being played on AM radio all over the place, too.
1400 WSAM in Saginaw.
Exactly. And then Betty White, by the way, hosted Saturday Night Live 14 years ago, the oldest to ever host SNL.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
She was 88, by the way, in case you were wondering.
AC Holland, the third, is not 8 or 88. He's an 8th grader at Glen Hills Middle School in Glendale, Wisconsin. Doing his usual routine. Got on the bus after school, put on the headphones, and then things went wrong. Because from his seat in the middle of the bus, Holland noticed that the bus driver looked a little sick or tired, and her head dropped. He knew something was wrong when she continued to press on the gas and missed the street. He walked up to the front of the bus to check on her. She didn't respond. She had lost consciousness of the bus and was veering into oncoming traffic. Holland rushed to move her foot off the gas. He applied the brakes and safely parked the bus. Then he called 911 and his grandmother, who's a nursing assistant. He also instructed the other 13 to 15 students on board to call their families. Took over, saved the day. May have saved a few lives as well. Said he wasn't really scared. I was just trying to get the bus to stop.
How old?
8th grade.
Mark knew how to drive in 8th grade.
Hell yes. Been driving for years by then.
Mark was stealing his parents' car.
By 8th grade, I was stealing the family car. That's a fact. My grandfather let me drive the Blazer long before that at our cottage that we had.
You do know I now want to, about 4 years from now, just slide a bunch of money to your daughter and just say, just take the car for about 15, 20 minutes.
Never happened. She's not a rule breaker. She's like her mother. I mean, a lot would have to change in the next 4 years for that to happen.
Well, we're going to bribe her. I mean, I'm hoping she's got a price. That's all. Honestly. And I'd literally just say, go out, make a right, go down to the corner, park it, and just, go get something to eat. Half hour.
You're funny. Funny.
Life, payback.
For the bad, we go to Virginia, where a dump truck with its trailer upright was caught on camera colliding with a highway overpass. A dash cam showed the video. Truck raised its trailer, collide with the bridge overpass, and break free from the truck flipping on the roadway. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. We're unaware whether the driver was even aware that he had his dump truck raised when he did it. Either way, he's an idiot. Finally, the ugly. We go to Brooklyn, Illinois, where their Metro East Fire Department lost its building. Not because of fire or demolition, because it's failed so many inspections, they had to close down the fire department.
How bad does it have to? I mean, it's got to be to close down the fire department.
Didn't they know anybody they could bribe to make sure you could put the paperwork through? I mean, come on.
Oof.
Wow.
That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, May the 8th, 2024.
Everybody's playing in baseball. Everybody. 8 of the 15 games are this afternoon. Marlins Dodgers is a mighty nooner out in LA, so that's a 3:00 start. Rays are playing at 6:50 tonight, trying to sweep the 8-28 White Sox. So you got the White Sox at 8-28 and the Rockies at 8-27. Man,
how about that?
And the Marlins are 10-28. They're like, hell, we're a game or two ahead of you guys in the standings. But for what it's worth, 6:40 tonight. Boy, if you're FS1, this is a ratings juggernaut. Arizona at Cincinnati. And we're not talking the NFL. That's Diamondbacks Reds. Hello. Our Reds are slumping, by the way.
I know.
Below 500. Not happy about this.
Our
Reds
prop bet, we need 82 wins, and it's not looking good early. They need to get on a Tampa Bay Rays roll.
In fact, they haven't won a game in the month of May, the Reds.
It's a long season.
Yeah, we're not exactly putting money on the 27 Yankees here. Reds have lost 6 in a row, just so you know. We went from 3 over 500 to 3 below. We need a little something. All right, NBA. One game. Indiana, the Knicks. Indiana's getting 4.5.
I love the Pacers.
Yeah, I do too. Let's bet it.
I love the Knicks.
Unbelievable.
I do, David. I am high on the Knicks. I am.
Oh, you're high on them, all right.
The Mitchell Robinson injury, obviously, that hurts quite a bit. But I think they're well coached. They're deep. They're gritty.
They're not deep. That's wrong.
Not anymore. Yes, correct.
I mean, that's the problem. They had a nice 9-man rotation. Randall's out, Robinson's out, and Bogdanovich off the bench is out. I mean, Josh Hart's playing 48 minutes a night. Brunson's playing 43 to 46 minutes. Dante DiVincenzo's having to play over 40 minutes a night. Precious Achua is going to play like 25, 30 minutes tonight. He's going to have to. Who can he guard? Turner? Siakam? No.
I just think this is where you throw the ball to Jalen Brunson. Let's go, baby.
Well,
I mean, they've been doing it, but
I don't know what his over-under is tonight.
4 straight games, 40 plus.
I would guess it's around 34, 35.
Well, it was 37.5 for game 1. I would guess it would be at least that high again in game 2. Also, Halliburton was terrible in game 1. And the Knicks got 2 horrendous calls to go their way.
If the Knicks win tonight, would you agree that the series not over, but you think the Knicks will end up winning the series?
No. Trent, I'm telling you, I think every win the Knicks get the rest of the way is like, wow, I can't believe they're doing this. Listen, I thought if they didn't go into Philly and win game 6 that they could easily lose that series in 7.
Okay.
Trent, this is Jalen Brunson and 5 role players.
But Jalen Brunson is
a 6'1" guard.
This
is almost Iverson-esque what he's doing. What he did with the Sixers in 01. This is remarkable what Jalen Brunson is doing.
But I think
second-round pick.
He's proving he can do it, though, and it's awesome, and it's happening. And I'm
now that part,
it.
This has been he has been a riot to watch. They've been fun to watch. This series, because of the pace at which the Pacers play, it's going to be a good series. And it's going to be a high-scoring series. This series is fun. I'm in.
Hockey. The doubleheaders on ESPN, 7:30, Bruins and Panthers.
We already bet the Panthers. I just want to let you know that.
They're minus 175.
Yeah, it was 165 on the Hard Rock app, but we still bet them.
10 o'clock, finally, Edmonton and Vancouver is going to get underway. Edmonton's a favorite on the road.
I like Edmonton in this series in short order. I think Edmonton wins in 5.
I think it goes 6, but I hear you. By the way, they think Demko for Vancouver, the goalie, could return by game 6. Very interesting. All right, that's it. We're doing this tomorrow. We had no idea who's going to be on the show besides Trent, Miller, and Moulton. Otherwise, it's totally up in the air.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Are you looking to make this Mother's Day unforgettable? Jason and Todd with the Diamond District are excited to help. This year, she'll get the ice and you'll get the cooler. A premium Yeti cooler valued at $300. With their stunning selection of fine diamond jewelry and exotic gemstone jewelry, you'll be sure to find the perfect gift that will help make this Mother's Day special. And with your purchase of $1,800 or more, you'll receive a free premium Yeti cooler valued at $300. Whether you're already part of the Diamond District family or will be meeting them for the first time, you'll fall in love quickly with their selection, quality, value, and experienced non-commissioned team. Jason and Todd are in the store nearly every day and are excited to hand you a premium Yeti cooler when she gets the ice. Visit Jason and Todd with the Diamond District this Mother's Day week from the 8th through the 12th to receive your Yeti cooler with a purchase of $1,800 or more. Jason and Todd look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to the Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Did the Panthers equal the series and what happened in the NBA? I mean, that. Oops. Turn this off. Bye, everyone.